Evening, John.
Hi, Jack. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. Hey, you missed
Hey.
this. We had a what the heck? Supposed to be here in person. That's
Yeah, but I remember I have that medical. I have to give like, anti-seizure meds to an animal at 6:30, so I can't show up in time, in person.
$100,000. $100,000. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I
I'm
wish.
gonna
I
deliver
wish.
your card for you.
Well, John, it just gives me a reason to come into the office tomorrow.
All right, yeah, right.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. I wanted to be there, but I couldn't find anybody to do. And if, when you've got an animal that's having seizures, you got to be really precise with the medicine. So it is what it is. So,
Good seeing you.
Yeah, we'll miss you.
yeah, I'll miss it. I mean, maybe it's a 3-year break. Depends on how controversial you guys all get.
Oh, like today, the last meeting you have is the Beaver meeting. It's it's gonna be interesting, very interesting.
There's our beaver regulations.
It's in there. It's a,
Some,
yeah.
is it on the website?
Hmm?
Sorry.
It's on our website too, yeah, it's at the
Variant.
very end of, the, regulations. Yeah, I'll show you to get that, I'll show you where it is. You got that on? The regulations and whatever it is.
Regulations, all right.
Go all the way down, down, right there.
Very fun.
Yeah, with some beaver.
Yeah, yeah.
You ever watch Duck Dynasty? They just blow over. Dynamite.
What?
You ever watch that show, Duck Dynasty?
We're not in Louisiana.
No,
They just blow them up with dynamite.
we're not saying that, that's someone else. Wait a minute.
No, I'm just-
Hey, you're not on, how come you're not on this thing?
Because you don't have the owl on.
Yeah.
How does, the
Oh, yeah,
owl
yeah,
usually
sorry.
goes to everyone that's talking,
Do you gotta turn it on?
what's going on? It usually goes through.
Keep the light on it, right?
How we made
What's
it.
that?
Exactly. It worked out.
Okay, let me see what
Is
goes,
it on now?
I don't know. Interesting, it's not picking up.
Right now.
Hello,
But why isn't this?
hello.
That's a good question.
It's the IT guy downstairs.
Yeah,
As far as knowing.
what the heck is going on here?
We can't zoom to anybody if we. No. We turn it off, turn it back on.
I can sit in John's lap.
I know,
Okay.
it's very odd, I mean, I didn't figure that out.
Behind your computer. Even where is everybody else? If this is like.
What, well, they're coming in during the Beaver when they're coming in. So this is.
Turn it back on.
What the heck?
Plugged in. I guess something's supposed to go there.
Yeah, it's all the same. If I'm plug it and plug it back in, maybe not.
Yeah, maybe try that. Definitely not working.
Video. Says.
This.
There you go.
It was on 8, yes.
Right.
Ah. You can't escape now.
There you go.
Hey.
Correct.
Yeah,
That's good.
All right, it is 6:00. Well, did we lose it?
no, that's
Okay.
fine.
All right, 6:07 PM. Tuesday, May 5th, 2026. I'm officially opening the Board of Health, Town of Millis meeting. Can I get a second?
Second,
Favor?
I
aye.
wanted Jake Hardy to get as many seconds in as she could,
Okay,
just in case you missed it.
secondary. Right. Okay. Oh, we do. Uh, the nurse.
See,
Here's the nurse's report.
yeah, well. Two.
That's not it.
Yeah,
There it is. All right, for May, nurses report. 9 flu, 5 COVID, 2 Lyme. GI cluster, what's our GI cluster? And provides 1. All right, GIs and cluster occurring at assisted living facility. That was last month, wasn't it?
no, this is for April,
Oh, okay. Okay,
and,
3 cases with symptoms non-confirming norovirus, 1 case hospitalized, 1 norovirus confirmed in the community. Could not be contacted, all assisted living facility cases resolved. Norovirus, fine in incidence in April. Turning to flu vaccine in May. Advertising for the senior fair was last month.
yeah, I think this might be wrong, because I think
This is what?
she talks about the,
This is April.
yeah, I think she talked about the tick being very high this month. Hold on a minute,
Yeah,
let me see.
so it was the senior fair last month.
Probably get her on the. Yeah, we can do this right here. Can you see it?
Well, actually, you can see it up there, we cannot see it on the Zoom.
Let me put that on the Zoom there. Okay, let me see. There. Should somehow
You
show
should
up.
be able to share that screen.
Yeah, right, that's what I'm thinking. I think this is it right here. Okay, you can see that, right?
Yeah. Okay, so one is Campylobacteria, 1 case, COVID, 1 case, flu, 2 case, either virus. Right, senior healthcare attended by 75 persons, present presentations on substance abuse, Alzheimer's, and physical therapy demonstration attended by 15 to 20 persons each. Hearing evaluation very popular, may be a regular program. Per Mass DPH, the tick season is off to a bad start. The ED visits for tick bites are running triple rate usually seen this time of year. Monkeys dealing in front of it. Main concern is Lyme disease, but Lone Star ticks, dog ticks are also active and transmit other diseases. Posted on our website, the CDC webpage. Outlining prevention, clothing care, and repellent and treatments. There's also lawn and yard care to limit tick bites. Right, and the flu vaccine clinic dates have been established and the flu vaccine has been ordered. Camp programs will be starting in June. We'll be checking for vaccination records on staff and participants. verifying that all regulations are met. Okay, so that is our nurses report for.
And Ann is away on vacation, so she's not here today for this.
Fine.
Can I ask a question?
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah, do we know, because usually the flu vaccines get broken down into, what type of vaccines, like how many over 65, how many high potency over 65? Do we have a breakdown on that? Do you know, John or Carol?
Thought we were collaborating with the pharmacy in Sherborne this year.
This year is gonna be Pine Hill. They're gonna do that for every clinic we have,
Okay,
so.
So we're just gonna get our vaccines through Pine Hill, so there's, but you know, John, how it usually is, we order so many of the different types of flu vaccines.
It's two. They want, it's high dose and one that's not high dose. Those are the only two ones we ever done.
I think by going to the pharmacy, like we won't have to waste at the end of the season.
Right.
By overbuying vaccines that no one wants to take.
And we take 10 for people that don't have insurance. We can give it out then, because it's an insurance issue. So.
Why is the owl not working anymore?
Hmm?
I think the owl stopped working.
Well,
I think John just turned off his video.
Oh,
I did, oh, yeah. I thought I heard something, okay, that's. Okay,
okay,
all right, here we go.
all right, that works, all right. Okay. Next agenda item at 6:14, but first up on the agenda is 33 Spencer septic variances.
Okay, so that's, my name is Paul Lee Simone with Colonial Engineering. Give you a quick backdrop on this property. We were hired 2 or 3 years ago to do testing because the septic was bubbling out of the ground, right near the house too. Did the testing, we had the wetlands delineated, we designed a conventional system. The guy disappeared, the homeowner just couldn't get a hold of him, couldn't do it, couldn't submit the plans without his signature, couldn't do anything. Fast forward to about 6 or 7 months ago. Fella comes in our office and says he's buying the house and, he wants to buy the plans. But when I showed him what we did, it was a big mound because of the high water table. He says, oh geez, so he wanted a Presby, which is an alternative system. So we redesigned it. That's what's in front of you tonight. And the variances, at the time of the perk testing, we could not do perk testing because of the high groundwater. So we sent it to a lab, which is typically what we do on repairs. And of course, the alternative system is 2 feet above the water table. I know it's not a variance for you, but it is approved by the state. So the only variance we're looking for from you guys is the sieve analysis test for doing perk test.
If I may say something, I think it also, LUA has the 2 foot on the plan itself.
Yeah.
So I think it's approved by DEP, but a lot of the boards of health want to see the 2 feet approved by them, even though it's.
Well, you guys can, you can vote on that if you want. But it is an approved system through the state, so I mean. And the theory behind it is what happens, the effluent goes in. It's supposed to be clean when it comes out. I wouldn't recommend drinking it, but that's what they say. That's why you only need the 2 feet, because it's clean water, actually. And I have a meeting with Concom coming up. I believe it's next Monday.
So do you have the actual language that they could use, both the 2 foot and the sieve? I gave them the tip.
On the 9A form,
Right,
it just says request sieve analysis in lieu of perk test.
and I gave them this, this is the, talks about the sieve analysis. But it's also on the plan for the 2 foot.
Yeah, so they could, I mean, if they want wording, you can just say that in lieu of 4 foot, 2 foot separation.
Right, you can do that, yeah.
You know,
That's pretty much it. Try to get that in another 3 or 4 weeks.
For like the alternate systems, we require them to do more, if they need more maintenance.
Say again, sorry.
Or,
The Presby system, most of this alternative systems do have maintenance plans.
yeah,
The Presby, he does not. So the guy that was gonna buy it, oh, then he backed out, so we never got paid for him either. So this is a third party coming in now. Yeah, the Presby doesn't have any maintenance plan with it, that's strictly by itself.
and the old system's coming out.
Yeah, yeah, it's, I mean, I don't think there's anybody living in the house now, but the thing's been bubbling out of the ground for years. The guy just disappeared.
Hmm.
Well, they flush the toilet, it would come into the tank and just come out on the ground. It was. You saw it, John saw it. It's pretty bad.
It seems consistent with things we've done in the past, so I personally don't have any concerns.
and so you're looking for a variance for a set analysis in place of a perk test.
Right.
Okay. Motion to approve a variance to allow for a sieve analysis to be used in place of a perk test for 33 Spencer Street. Can I get a second?
Second,
All in favor? Aye. Okay.
And we need an additional one
Vote
for
on our
two.
We're waiting for the
Do
two.
we need an additional one for the,
Two additional, so. Which again, I'm pretty sure is consistent with things we've done in the past, right?
Yes, yes.
okay. Motion to approve a variance for a 2-foot separation in lieu of the 4-foot required by the regulation for the Presby alternative system for 33 Spencer. All in favor? Or sorry, second, do I get a second?
second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Variance to approve.
Should I stick around for the beavers? That sounds interesting.
Yeah, it's up to you. Up to you.
No, but hey, thank you very much, I appreciate you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Okay, 6:20 PM. Next on the agenda is the ice cream truck violation of Sam's Ice Cream.
Hi. Yeah, my name is Zaman Kashkatatbek. I'm a PhD student and father of 3 kids. My father do ice cream here in this town about 17 years. And he had never had any violations here and for surrounding towns. I came to apply for him for a permit. He was sick. And I noticed the town was closed and I passed through here to stop sign. And there was a group of baseball boys just across the street. And I stopped to let them just cross the street and I back to the main street, never sell any ice cream. And I told I will back on Monday to apply for a permit, but I had a family emergency. Also, I'm a student, I have something also submit. I can't come, my father was sick. So I ask, can we ask you to accept our appeal and let my father get prepared?
Okay, so what's the background on this?
It was, basically, doing the work without taking the permit.
No, I didn't sell any ice cream. I just passed through.
That's what the affidavit came from the person.
But I
And
did,
then last year, the year before, apparently, there was an issue with that too, that, the clerk also warned your father. And he says, okay, so.
you know, I told him he was sick. And I didn't see
You were
anyone.
driving the truck, not your father.
I'm sorry.
You were driving the truck.
Yeah, I was driving the truck. My father.
Yeah, she has
he was
pictures
sick.
too. She made pictures too of you.
I'm sorry.
She made pictures of you as well. The one who originally, made this year's issue.
He will apply. No, my father didn't come at all. He will, because I can ask him to let him to the bill. I didn't sell any ice cream. I didn't see anyone, to be honest with you. I just passed the stop sign, there was a group of boys crossing the street, and I back to the main street.
You have music on.
No,
That's what she said. She made an
I
affidavit.
didn't see anyone. I didn't see any ice creams. That's what happened. I didn't back, I told you I will back on Monday to apply for a permit. Baby, believe me, I was a PhD student, I had something to submit. And my father was sick. And here, we just requested to let my father apply for the permit.
So I ended up, canceling it for the whole year, suspension for the whole year. But as I said before, the board can either agree with that or make something
So
different.
can you elaborate on that? So it didn't exist or it hadn't been applied for, but you denied it for the year?
I told him I will.
Because he supposedly affidavit that he had come in and started selling without the permit.
Right.
Last year, we got documents from the clerk and whatnot that said she saw him out there, warned him that you did it again, come in and pay permits every year, and they know this. Yeah. They know this.
Say he will apply for the permit. He was sick. I told you, I didn't. Didn't come at all. I told him I would back to apply for the permit and he would apply for the permit. He will not come until he gets the permit. That he worked here for 17 years and you know that he never had any complaint. And even you can ask the surrounding towns.
Well, apparently there are
It's
complaints recently.
Hmm?
Recently, there are complaints this year, last year, the year before that, I heard. So,
What
You
sort
can
of
ask the surrounding towns.
Permitting?
Only.
Permitting,
They say
right.
first of April.
permitting?
um,
Yeah, it's important to get a permit before you sell food products.
You know, I told you, I didn't sit in ice cream and we'll never back until we get the permit. Yeah, please.
When is the permitting supposed to happen? Like when does it roll over every year? It's,
no, it lasts until like May of each year or something like that.
okay.
And then I have to do an inspection. The inspection comes with every mobile,
So that's the problem.
and that's part of the problem. Even though it's not high risk, it's still part of the problem. You don't permit, you don't get inspected.
Right.
Every year.
So I would say one thing I'm confused about is if he's been doing this for 17 years, it seems like he would know this is part of the process. And it would be the same in the surrounding towns, right?
Yeah, I know, we applied for the towns, you can ask them. He applied for all towns, we get the permit. Yeah, you know, sometimes also when you apply for state like Hooker and Builder State, sometimes to get from the poster. So I told him I will come. I didn't come because I have swimming issue and also a PhD student. And I didn't come at all, even my father, he didn't come at all. And waiting until to the parents. Yeah, please accept our appeal. And if my father do this, he's 72 years old and he's all responsibility.
Okay, so right now there's a suspension for 1 year.
Correct. But it could be changed.
Have there been any previous suspensions for them?
No,
So is it, even though there have been
there
other,
were warnings by the clerk and other people that said, hey, we saw you outside, you weren't permitted and you were running in the, with baseball teams, stuff like that. And he said, oh, I know, I'm coming in to get it done. Okay, that's fine. But possibly 3 times in a row, this is, sorry.
I'm sorry, I didn't come at all. When I told you I was come to apply for the bill.
Yeah, but get an affidavit from the person that says something else. So I would say maybe it's too stringent. For the whole year, my opinion. But if you wanna change that, that's absolutely fine.
You reduce it for a certain number of months. Not a whole year, just a couple months.
Well, I mean, I am confused that he's been doing this for so long and didn't apply for this ahead of time. That being said, I understand that he probably has limited, you know, he's a.
This is my,
This is my
my
first year.
it was first day I come here,
Yeah.
and it's our first day, it was, I come to the town, it was closed, and I stopped in the stop sign and then back to the main street. That's what happened.
Well, I guess what
Didn't
I'm,
see any ice cream.
I guess what I'm getting at is. Regardless of what we do, I wanna make sure that he's clear that next year.
Yeah, sure.
Right, because if it hasn't been clear for the
No.
last 17 years, then it should be clear next year.
We'll never do any regulation or anything.
The thing about,
This has been a complaint for the last couple of years, selling without a permit.
yeah,
So it's a couple of years, not just this year, it's previous years that also started selling without a permit.
Please accept our appeal, we'll never back without, apply first, I will come with the car, I will never drop the truck. If I was like dash cam, you will see what I'm talking about. I will put dash cam for this. This is first time I come to, I best go and to stop sign and back. I didn't see anyone, I didn't see it, I hear faces, I didn't see anyone, to be honest with you.
maybe a couple questions or comments. One is. I don't remember what day this was or anything. At the time.
April 5th, I think April 5th. It's
April
Friday,
5th.
April 5th,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Oh, and the
And it
town
was- and
closes
it-
at noon.
yeah.
And it was a person actually gave us the affidavit. And she was very keen about it. She goes, if his truck came over to the baseball team, the music was playing and he had people come over to his truck and then nothing was done. But she claimed, I'm not gonna get to who she is, but she claimed that this is actual, running without a permit. He was doing, the sales, but plus what the clerk said, for 2 years, this happened before. And it was reminded your father to do this for, we're just trying to make sure that this is done,
Yeah, it was a grouping of baseball games crossing the street at the front of the truck. That's what happened. I start at the middle of the street, waiting until the boys cross the street, and I back to the main street.
I mean, I get the idea that I wouldn't know that town closes on Friday
I
at
don't
noon
know.
if I didn't work with the
Right,
town.
right.
And I'm just giving you my opinion, obviously others need to weigh in. It is low risk. And I worry that if we put too onerous of a. What's the right word? Penalty. I mean, you sell ice cream in the summer, right? So if we were to. Put 3 months, I mean, that decimates his ability to make. Money, on the other hand, again, for me, it's concerning that he's been doing this for so long. And didn't get a permit ahead of time. So I would wanna make sure that. Moving forward, it's crystal clear to him. This has to be done.
Sure, I will never, me or my father, I will come with a car, I will never come with a truck, for black or him. Yeah, I promise you.
Well, you do have, sorry, my says, you do have to come with the truck for the inspection at the same time when you get the permit.
Because, I just passed and look, again, this is first time in the year, I come with the truck, first time, I didn't go before, this is was first time in the year to go with the ice cream truck. Because if I just pass through, get a picture, that's not good for me. I will come with a car next time.
When do the permits expire? Just. May.
I think it's in the fall or something like that. I can't remember. It's only like 6 months, something like
Yeah,
that.
season.
Okay, seasonal, right. The year might be a little harsh, I don't see anything.
What can I ask, John, when you've inspected before, have you found anything of concern?
So,
When you've inspected in previous years, have you found anything of concern?
no, it's a very old truck,
Just the pre.
It's an old truck. but it's fine, it's low risk that they serve, so.
No soft sale, no food, just the pre-packaged ice cream. Some commercial freezer that goes 20 minus 20 feet and height.
How about, well, what do you think, Jakar? You be quiet?
So am I to understand that this is not the first time, this is not the first year that the business has opened without a permit?
Yes,
Okay, and it's been the last sequential number of years that this has happened?
I think it's last 2 years.
So last year and this year?
No, not last.
Last year and the year before last year, and then this year as well.
This will be the
Okay.
third year.
Okay, so
Okay,
this is the
3
third
years.
year. So
So
I
we-
do think there has to be a consequence because it's 3 years in a row. I think a year is way too much.
Excuse me, no,
be-
3 years. I think, no, 3 years. This is the second time, as he said, my father was before, and he do inspection and the payment on the same day. That's what he told me.
So
Yeah,
is it,
he was sick, and I came to apply for the payment for him.
so is it 2 years or 3 years? I'm unclear here.
I think it was 2 years before this one.
I think this is the first time we've heard about it, right? I don't
Right,
recall
right. It
this.
was basically the clerk saying that she told the father,
This is the
came in the
second
office,
time.
make sure you do this. So it was discussion. It wasn't actual writing, it was discussion that happened.
Okay,
This is the second time. What I hear from my father, he do the payment in the same day.
Right,
he
but
sent-
and on our side, it's 3 years. This is the third year.
This is the
So,
second year. This is the second year.
Mm, I'm understanding from our official person in the office, this is our third year of you beginning your business without the permit.
Excuse me, you can ask him again. This is before 2 years, the one that he told that my father come without parent, and he do the parent in the same day. Before 2 years. And this is the second time I came to apply for him for a parent.
Alright, well, what we got before us is, right now there's been a cease and desist. A suspension, I recommend we reduce the suspension from a year. Like the month of June. Reopen in July 1st, that'll give you time to get the permit. And get inspected and do all the business.
why not May?
Yeah, please, because you know,
Just
just
May.
he work, you just
Well,
work for me here. There is no,
Can we talk, please?
So I'll just say I'm a little reticent even to do a month, but I could imagine a scenario where we say starting on the day the permit is applied for or whatever starts 30 days. I would personally prefer not to make them wait until summer and lose income. On the other hand, I agree with Jack Carr that we want to make it clear that this is expected from here on out.
We require all businesses in our town to get health inspections and licenses, and that system's set up for a reason, to sort of protect our citizens' health. So when you avoid getting the permit, you know, whether you sold or not, there's someone claiming you did, we can't prove that.
I will respect all the rules, and I came the request to with my father. This is the only source of income. You know, after 1 month, there is no business. I will never back here with the term. I will do even by phone, apply the application and do the inspection and then get the payment. I will never back with ice cream truck here without do application and get payment.
And
Because, you
every
know,
year after,
I just pass through and get the picture. I will never back with ice cream truck. I came to apply for him for a payment. He was sick. That's what happened.
in the future years, you'll apply before you sell.
Yeah, I will apply online, or I will call you to get the application filled or the paperwork, come to do the inspection, and then do. Otherwise, I will not come with the truck at all. I promise you. Yeah, I can get a request to get my father work, because it is always source of income, you know, from where we come, from Lawrence. So. Yeah, my father was 72 years old.
A long way to come.
Yeah. Please.
So you're saying 30 days from,
Well, I actually feel like it should, personally, I feel like it should be less, because I hear that there's been discussions with town clerk, but this is the first time it's come to the board that I'm aware of. And so I don't want to be too restrictive. My personal feeling is a week from when the application is submitted. But that's just my thoughts. I don't want to be too harsh, but I also want to recognize the fact that if someone's been in business for that long, then they should know the rules. But also, again, in my mind, balance it with that it is quite low risk. And so, to me, that feels fair.
Car, what's your feelings?
John, how long does it take, so they come in with the paperwork and then the clock's ticking, how long does it take from that to get you able to schedule an inspection?
I usually do the same day, they come in for
Okay.
permits.
Okay,
If I'm here, if I'm not, then maybe a couple days, something like that.
okay. So, I'm in agreement with Matt, which is, let's make it reasonable. I don't know that would agree for a week, but I think, given the, we've got a holiday at the end of the month. And there's different things during the month. So maybe 10 days from the time everything is done. Then, because then that's some time, but it's going, if he gets the paperwork in ASAP, you do the inspection. It's now the 5th, you could essentially be back in business in the middle of the month. So quibble week, 10 days. I was looking at the end of the month just because of Memorial Day and, holiday and stuff like that, but I know it's a short time, an ice cream truck has a very short window in New England. But it's concerning to me that whether we've heard about it or not, John knows that this is so, that there's, this would be the 3rd year that this has happened. Yes, things happen, but that's why you don't wait till the last minute. Especially if you've missed the year before or the year before. And like you said, Carol, there's a reason we have these regulations. So I don't like having regulations and then just kind of not honoring them in some way. Discretion, yes, but they still need to be honored.
And I just want to be clear, I, again, argue for leniency once.
Okay.
I want to make sure that you guys get it.
Sure.
All right, so 10 days from the day they apply and get inspection and permitted suspension.
Yeah, because otherwise it's really not a suspension, right? If it's,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can be on board with that.
Okay. Right. We got
Yeah, I think we have to vote on weird. Yeah.
okay. Vote to reduce the suspension on Sam's ice cream truck to 10 days after when they apply and get permitted for the 2026 season.
Then I get the paperwork now. Or by email.
Yeah, you have to come back tomorrow.
Okay.
So,
Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Is the paperwork not available online?
You send me.
yeah, I think clerks has this all.
Oh, so and she's not in.
The clerk's
Okay.
Send
I
by
still got it
email.
come all the way back.
Okay. Send the paperwork by email.
She can email that to you, so, fax or whatever the case may be, yes.
email her.
Okay, let's
I
do
will send all the paperwork to give it to the inspection tomorrow. My father will come tomorrow.
it. What are the hours tomorrow, just to be clear? Like, when will you be here
Or
tomorrow?
the bell hours.
I should be here. Yeah, morning, afternoon, just tell me when you need it.
Oh.
We do it that time. Okay.
Okay. Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you.
And you.
Yeah.
You can say if you want, but most people usually don't.
Thank you so much.
All right, it is 6:42 PM. Next on the agenda is fever issues with Highland Road. Railroad, bowling alley, and the Auburn wetlands. Little background on that.
I just want to add to the causeway, the main culvert on causeway is always, this is also flood. Causeway too. Causeway.
Okay. Good thing we just updated our beaver policy. Let's hear the first beaver problem. Island Road.
Island Road,
Island
Yeah,
Road.
do you want me to go into it? I just,
can if you want, I mean,
so I just. We've had several complaints with them in the past couple of weeks from the beaver, I guess, it's been a late season, so they're really starting to come out and, cause havoc. Island Road is, up to the top of the road. We cleared it out a couple times, but the problem with Island Road is the beavers are building downstream. So that the water is actually coming in. Usually they block the culvert before the road and then it packs on one side, but this one is a smart one. So he's blocked on the other side and is coming over. So we had Beaver Solutions come out and do a report. The Island Road dam, his suggestion is to put a beaver defender there. But he is saying it's not gonna work on Island Road. It's gonna push them up further, and it's gonna cause more issues. Island Road, he's against trapping or whatever, but he said Island Road, the beaver need to be eliminated from that area. So that's that, and then we have, Peter's area is down by Main Street. It's the culvert going under the railroad tracks. We've cleaned it out several times for Peter, and Peter's been doing it every day for probably the past couple of years. And they're there every day. The beaver defender solution, he thinks that'll work there. So that's one for there. It's called a beaver deceiver.
What's it called?
Beaver deceiver. We have several of them throughout the town. There's probably 5 or 6 of them out
They
there.
work?
They do work.
They actually do work.
It's like they built like this cage around where they're building the dam. But
This
there's
is what
like
it looks like.
Farther away. It's pretty interesting.
Then there's also another one blocking the railroad tracks behind the library,
Okay.
which is blocking up to Richardson's Pond. They've always had a dam at Richardson's Pond. We have a beaver deceiver there. It's been working great.
Okay.
But now they cross the road and we come on the other side, and they're blocking the culvert at the railroad track.
Can we put one over there?
He suggested we do also one there also. And then, so
Causeway,
Causeway, that one is like almost 5-foot culvert. And they're plugging it solid. Well, we've,
and this is a big culvert.
yes, it
It
is.
is.
And very dangerous cleaning it out as well, because once it opens up, it takes all the water as possible, guy can get sucked through the pipe and really get hurt. We've been doing it with a machine with a log on the side, or try to pull a tire through, which is a pain in the butt because they build it up so high, you can barely get a rope through. But we've been being able to get it through. The other issue
Is
is.
this what you thought you'd be doing now at this stage of your life? Let me say that to myself.
Freaking beavers,
What?
Yeah. This is all gonna cost $15,000
Oh,
just to get these
Yeah,
put
right.
in.
for just the beaver deceivers and catching the beaver on.
And, oh, that doesn't include catching the beaver.
Okay.
That's gonna be separate. And that would be either during the season or if we got a special permit.
There's something right here for the bowling alley area that we have an issue with. Have you mentioned that one yet?
Yes, I have.
So this is the map of this, and I don't know if, Peter, you can take a look at this and tell us if this, where this is where the beavers are having problems? I don't know exactly what it is.
The whole big picture, it starts at Richardson's Pond. Okay, if you. Invite beaver to repopulate. You can just Google this stuff, they only stay there for a while and they'll go downstream. So downstream is, you can have a problem at the railroad bed by the police station. Then you're gonna have a problem at every culvert as they populate, they're gonna go downstream. So then you have the problem at the flow of water, a lot of people don't realize it goes from Richardson's Pond by the police station towards Tangerini's farm. To Primavera Restaurant, you can talk to him. His parking lot floods up, there's a culvert right there. And my interpretation of the beaver deceiver, it helps, but it also creates some other problems. And generally what it does is it just kicks the can down the road and makes it someone else's problem. So that's just a general, and you can Google beavers in there, what they do. And then Farm Street became a problem, and that became an issue. Again, this is always a progression over time. I've lived here almost 70 years, so back in the day, there was an old timer that would try to trap. He wouldn't even get, one beaver, he was thrilled, he would sell the pelt, I think, for $10. So then it became at Farm Street, and when that flooded over, it was, now all of a sudden the post office couldn't get to the post office, and that was a big issue where now the federal government's involved. And so they had to open up that culvert. They broke that culvert again with the telephone pole.
Yep.
And smashed through it. And then it went to just downstream to the to right here, the railroad, the old railroad bed. And that is, I think, the danger in that one. Some of the other culverts are cement, and this is a stone built things. So I would go over there, and even before beaver, sticks can go down there and they can get lodged. And I used to have to, this was pre-beaver, I would just go, especially if a rainy season's coming, and see if there are any sticks in the thing. So I would have a 2x4, but it's really, that's a long distance. And just to get the sticks, because in a flood, if we get 4 or 5 inches of rain, the flow of water here, how the Charles River backs up, but you have a rainstorm and it peaks 4 or 5 days later. This fills up so fast, and it also goes down fast. This is without beaver.
Right.
If it doesn't go down fast, there could be sticks in that stone culvert. In a sense, it's really dangerous. And that thing is really long and I don't think, I don't know how, if the beaver did something inside that culvert, I don't know how it would be able to be cleared safely. It almost can't be because of the way they are built, because you can't use a Vector or jet truck or anything, because what happens is then all of it goes in the granite pieces and just gets stuck. It's not an easy solution. And it gets very costly. Exactly. And it's, the other thing is too, is, nobody's budgeted for beavers. So, and this is gonna be almost a $10,000 a year maintenance fee, on top of all this.
Can I ask an overarching question? I'm not even here for this, but I want to ask is all of these problems on town land or private property?
Almost all of it is town land,
It is,
because they're picking the culverts at roadways.
okay, because I'm just saying, in my shop, where my storage is, if you go in there, there's a stream.
Yeah.
And we take care of that with the beaver guy. But we're supposed to, right?
Yeah.
Because if it backs up, the guy in Medway, that's got that little shitty shop center.
Yeah.
It backs up into his thing, he calls me screaming. We don't care about it, but he's screaming at me, so we called the beaver guy.
Primavera built one for themselves way out back, because when we put the one at Pleasant Street, they moved
They
up
moved,
behind their shop.
what you said.
It is literally kicking the can down the road, and I'll take it one step further.
There's always
Whatever.
beavers.
What he says, and beavers, it's an unbelievable creature. They're absolutely amazing when they.
We were cleaning,
And they don't
and
give
like,
up.
I can go with him, we were cleaning Richardson's Pond before the beaver deceiver. Every day with a machine, 2 hours, 2 man. It gets very costly.
And the other guy used to do it for free. This would be pre-1996. But he wouldn't get many beavers, he'd be disappointed. So it's not just Millis, I have my own,
Obviously.
I have a little bullet point, so.
Yeah, I know there are lots of beavers.
It's, the beaver population has tripled.
And what is that owing to?
1996, they changed the trapping laws. And everyone saw it on the referendum and said, oh, yeah, I love animals, we shouldn't trap anymore without any thought. And talking to, you know, the politicians that I've talked to over the years, it's just not not many people are being impacted, so it's not, the politician won't win votes on saying, oh, let's trap, even though they understand the problem. But it's, you know, politics, you have to get elected, so it's not, you know, it's.
Well, no, this came up
Not-
too.
Yeah.
I didn't wanna interrupt you, but when all this came through, I know we, at the town meeting, they're saying they're gonna do $120,000 to try to look at all these wetlands, which unless we get rid of these beavers, I don't think it's gonna help. I think we're gonna waste $120,000 because all these beavers are creating wetlands everywhere, and that's probably what they're seeing in satellite.
Yeah, I don't,
Beavers preserve wetlands.
I'm not a-
Natural part of it.
yeah, I don't think that,
Yeah.
but there's more problems with that than beavers, by the way. But yeah,
Well, beavers there's only need for permits for beavers between April 16th and October 31st, so why is it not a problem the rest of the year? Like
They're
they
a little more
hibernate, right?
dormant than.
They hibernate in the winter, so, and that's what created that law was, okay, enough said. For instance. The beaver showed their face on, I would guess, the 17th of April this year. You said it was so bad.
We had 3 complaints right in a row.
Yeah.
And,
One beaver, they'll have, I think we can Google it, and I might be off on this, I think they generally have 8 litters. And they stay around the homestead, I think, for 2 years, and then they go downstream. And then they have 8 more, and it proliferates. So it's tripled in 96 since 1996.
so do you have a, you know more than anybody, do you have a solution?
Yeah, but I wouldn't be able to become selectman if I had to go through that stuff.
I know you don't wanna be selected.
well,
No,
but the beaver deceiver, he wrote his report and he's confident that he can keep the water running with the 3 of them. The only one he's very concerned about is Island Road.
That's the worst one.
Yeah, cause the water's already at road level.
here's my bullet points. I didn't really want to talk too much, though. I just made it.
So how much money are you talking about?
So like to have these 4 built.
Yeah.
It's $15,700, $15,980,
For all 3?
and for the 4 of them,
For 4,
yeah,
not Island Road,
including Island Road.
but you said it wasn't gonna work.
He wanted to try something. It is the cheapest one. He wants to put, so usually they'll put it at the culvert. He wants to put it in their dam. And try that. His thoughts are that they need to be gone, but in order to get to where they are gone, he needs to have the water flowing, so he wanted to try this.
Okay, so for $16,000 for the equipment. And then how much, what's the maintenance a year?
It's $430 per defender.
A year,
Plus,
so you're talking $1,600 a year?
plus we have those other ones that are already in.
Plus we have,
We have 4 more already, it's in, that he paid for already, we paid for already, 4.
What'd you pay for those for?
and I don't even know, cause I didn't see these.
It's like $3,000 a piece, and then every year was like $500 a year for maintenance and like that, where.
Just to give it,
How much does
some
the
of
traffic cost?
some towns,
It was
they just have
Traffic
programs.
$750 for a 10-day permit,
Before
Okay.
they
and then he
repopulate.
charges
Very common in other towns, it was used to do, but it was that guy just doing
So
it.
it's like almost $1,000.
It was,
So it's-
depending on what it was there.
So $750 for a 10-day permit, try and catch a beaver, you may not catch a beaver.
Exactly.
I don't want to.
And then $150 if he does catch.
Is that legal?
$750 to catch a beaver.
Yeah.
For 10 days.
Carry Barry.
If he does catch a beaver, it's an additional $150.
I know.
For beaver, or- so you're saying if you do that once,
But
He said it'll be
you're not guaranteed to catch it.
you've almost,
Yeah,
Why?
but you can't, you're not guaranteed to catch a beaver,
and how, is that permitted for the whole season?
10 days.
10 days, you said.
Obviously, then it's only good for 10.
So you could theoretically spend more on that than you would spend on maintenance, but it's not sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's guessing, can you get the beaver?
Okay.
$750 for each 10-day period where they try and catch a beaver at each location, I'm sure. Plus
And I'm
$150
not against beavers either, but like Peter was saying, the more beavers that are bred, the more defenders you have to install.
The deceiver, it's a great business model.
For them, yes.
Okay, I'm gonna, can I jump in here?
Absolutely.
I'm gonna jump in here because what got us on the road originally of moving from trapping, doing serial trapping at the same sites every year, and we costed that out. And then we costed out doing the deceivers and did a trial with 1 or 2 the first year. Was economics, it economically made sense to do it, it was cheaper to do it. The state was very unhappy that we hadn't tried to do these deceivers, and then kind of put us on notice that we had to try to do them because beavers are a keystone animal and are essential to healthy wetlands. And the state has invested in wetlands and been buying up wetlands along the different river systems. Charles River, for example, they spent, I think it was $20 million buying up land primarily for the cultivation of wetlands, so that during flood season, wetlands would absorb the floods and filter the water more effectively than letting the floods just sweep away people's structures. So we did it because it was economically smart, and it was also what the state was leaning hard on towns to do. And we've been very happy with that. Beavers do not make 8 babies. They make 2, maybe 3. And yes, they tend them for a couple of years and then they have to go off. But this is, and before we did what we did, we researched with Concord, which has a similar kind of topography and wetlands, and other towns north along different rivers, Merrimack River, et cetera. And we talked to those towns about what they were doing. This beaver deceiver is also what the state of Massachusetts uses along its interstate and state highways as first choice now. That it's so we're not kind of out in left field with this. And yes, there's times it doesn't work, even though we haven't hit one of those. We hit one of those a couple of years ago, and then they went to trap the beavers and they couldn't find the beavers. They had disappeared. So that is one of the reasons they want to usually try one of these devices, is because there's what they think, but then there's trying it and seeing if it works, because sometimes the beavers just pick up and move elsewhere. And yes, they move because they're looking to live and figure out how to create an environment for their lives as well. So we worked with DPW and the town administrator to find the funds for this, as well as the maintenance. And again, we crunched numbers and it was still coming out ahead to do this versus the serial trapping. And like Carol said, sometimes you get them, you don't. I mean, it was, I think, a third of the cost to do the deceivers we originally did than it was costing the town to trap and trap and trap with all the fees and all the costs. So that's the history of how we got to the regulation we have. There's, we didn't just decide we love beavers and let's put together a document. We did the math. We worked with the state. We separated private and town. And for the most part, the people that the town was paying for trapping of beavers have not picked up doing it themselves. And that has saved the town money as well. So there's a reason we have the regulation we have. It's not about liking beavers or not liking beavers. It's about, it works. There's a reason beavers are essential to wetlands. Millis has a lot of wetlands. And we cannot like wetlands, but they're actually something the state invests in heavily to maintain and to have available, especially near river systems. So, and it's hard because, you know, then it gets to be, well, people built on wetlands. So when it rains, their backyards flood. And, you know, there's a way of thinking about that that's 40 or 50 years old, and there's a way of thinking about it that's more contemporary. And, you know, and it's uncomfortable sometimes. So, but, you know, I think given that the original 4 that we have in town were paid for and maintained through DPW as well as funds that the town administrator directed towards that because it was saving the town money, then that would be a conversation in terms of funding. I really wouldn't have the decision be about the finances because the money was found once, I'm sure it can be found again.
I have a meeting with, sorry, I don't want to interrupt, but I do have a meeting with, Jody and Mike in the
Okay,
next couple, it's just, so you do know there, it is a process, so we try to find a money.
Okay. Okay, good.
Oh,
But that's kind of the frame around how we came up with this regulation and why we, you know, kind of all the different pieces that pushed us to do that.
I don't know nothing from nothing about this, but I find it very hard to believe that there was parity between trapping and these defenders and the maintenance. I just find that hard to believe.
Parity?
Economically, yes.
Hmm.
Well, we're thinking about the defenders and then the maintenance, now you need 4 more, so you're at. And what does it cost to?
Ellen and I are business people, so when we hear financial things that just don't jog with our mind, it's hard for us not to
So I
say
think what you're
something.
not seeing is that they're not gonna catch the beaver in those 10 days. It takes a long time to try, beavers are smart. Like, they don't go into trap
Okay, but why are we at 10 days?
because of the 10-day permit. We
Well,
can
maybe you
only,
should
we can
change that.
only issue a 10-day emergency trapping permit, and
And-
every 10 days is another $750. For every site, so you got 4
Wait,
sites, you want
is
to try
the
to trap a
town
beaver.
Is the town charging $700?
No, the beaver, the guy who traps
Trap
the
the
beaver.
beaver.
The beaver guy.
Yeah. I don't,
I don't.
he could trap all, the whole winter season if it's allowed.
He just charges for the trap, you know, since it's
He
usually $1,000.
charges to have trap out per day and then he charges $150 per beaver.
The guy,
Yeah.
beaver guy,
Yeah, beaver guy.
he charges a flat fee to set the traps. And he says it's that flat fee, and then he'll charge us, I don't know, it's $150, $200 for every beaver he catches, but there is no 10-day limit. He knows what he's doing. And he
Because
knows,
that's during trapping season. You can do anything you want during trapping, but during not trapping season, a whole different set of regulations fall into place, and they're not just local regulations, they're state regulations.
The Board of Health it has to follow the 10 days. The
Right.
state,
and then you can.
Mass general law,
Then you
chapter
can have
1,
an extension.
section 80A.
Yeah, you
That
apply and get an
requires 10
extension.
There is no extension, that's. what the
No,
state
there's
says.
no extension. No, the
That
state
makes-
likes beavers. The state does, the state
So
is
could-
very pro beaver.
So,
We're not here to argue.
no,
with state law.
no,
Like, this is not.
no,
state law.
I'm just,
10 days.
all I'm speaking from experience. In the past, I've got a 10-day license, this is going back a few years. And then I simply came to the board and got an extension and got it, and but maybe the law has changed, that's just how it was.
We could extend, but it's another $750 fee.
No, okay, we won't talk finances. However, for my practical mind. If I was running a town, if I was the king. I would hire someone, I would send someone to a trapping school. You have a dog, an animal control officer, and the town could buy, $300 worth of traps. And when it's literally, they just
Do it in-house.
and do it in-house. And as far as the economic balance point, I'm a business person, she's a business person. Without a big spreadsheet, that's a much more economical way of handling it. Now, when when previous speaker, and I'm friends with Jai Khan, okay, I've known her a long time, I respect her. Sorry,
Jack Carr is a board member.
I understand, but it's hard for me, I'm looking at her name and I know she's up there, but, so, and we can disagree. But when I hear something that doesn't really upsets me, is she says that the state is spending millions of dollars buying wetlands. So that hits a nerve on me, because again, I've lived here for 70 years, and you might not know, but the Army Corps of Engineers came here in the 70s. And what they did to our family, you know, almost 100 acres of beautiful black swamp land. We had organic cranberry bogs. They came in from the Army Corps of Engineers, and you'll see they have easements everywhere. And we didn't have any money. My father was an Army guy, okay? So if someone says, oh, you don't do enough for, everyone and the greater good. We had to surrender land to the Army Corps of Engineers, including our cranberry bog. And I think she's talking millions. I think we got $20 an acre, $50 an acre, some, and we had no money to fight it. And then our local attorney said, they're doing this for a reason. The Army Corps of Engineers did this for a reason, with the state, hand in hand. This is what our attorney said, because with the Army Corps of Engineers, when you want to sue or try to fight the Army Corps of Engineers, you know where you go? You go to Army Corps. And no one wins in Army Corps except for the Army. So it was a taking.
Yeah,
So I
that's a
get very-
floodplain. That's not, nothing to do with beavers, and this is a public meeting. so
no,
we
it
have
is.
a History lesson,
It-
thank you very much. We don't need the history lesson.
She's talking, but you're talking about people being paid millions and millions.
I don't
of
think
dollars.
she said that.
No, 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 not people,
She did not say that.
the sum total, the sum total that the state spent for many, 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 yeah. Not people per se, billions.
Does the state give any money for this, Chuck Corps, if they love beavers so much? Is there like grant money, do you
If you
cool.
lived in the West, yes, if you lived in the West, there's grant money. Unfortunately, they don't have beavers and they actually import beavers from other states. We have a lot of beavers. So no, there's no grant money for towns to
know?
deal with.
Maybe we should sell our beavers.
Can I at least, now, really why I
We need
came
to
for it?
move on to the
Only,
next item on the agenda. We've had enough about beavers.
it's just a really.
Really
so
quick,
protection
one
of-
last thing.
So I'm here because of the bowling center.
Yeah.
My reaction is to hear things that it just doesn't jive, and as a business person and a 70-year-old citizen of the town, I thought I could respond. Ready? The bowling alley, it's so important for you to understand, and I have pictures, the bowling alley, people think it's on a slab, it's not on a slab, so what you see at ground level, I have pictures of it, I can forward you. You walk in, and you think everything's the same. You step down to the bowling lanes if you've ever gone
Yeah.
bowling. Well, the bowling lanes is another 2 feet below that area, and that's a cement slab. So the bowling lanes and all the equipment will be ruined if the water ever floods right to the back edge of our building where the asphalt is. Someone would look at it and think, oh, it hasn't reached the top of the cement
But they don't
foundation.
understand.
They do, that's why I'm here today, is to make you understand. The bowling alley is a threat with any flooding, so if the beaver cedar, I'm so dry now. You know, I don't know if it's gonna work, he says it's gonna work, but in that letter, he says he's gonna keep the water level higher than it was before. And that means that's closer, if we have a 6-inch rain and it doesn't work, well, we're gonna lose the bowling center. It's really as simple as that, I was offered 20 years ago, you don't wanna hear the history of Millis, but no, I understand. Walgreens wanted to take that spot. I thought it was a good civic thing to do to keep something. Millis didn't have much entertainment. Today, the senior citizens go there. They always come to me, oh, you're not gonna sell it or make it. No. The children, the special needs children, let them do a tremendous amount of business. I'm just concerned about the bowling center. Yes, for my financial, as I'm getting older, but also I've tried to provide entertainment. And I'm just trying to explain and let every board member understand. I could lose the facility in one flood because it's all wood and it doesn't do well with water. And that's how close it is. And that's why I am so passionate. Sorry about telling you about the history of Millis, but I need to convey that to you.
Okay.
And I also have planted,
We
I have
understand.
planted water irises.
We understand your plan. Your business is gonna flood. Please let us conduct our meeting now. All right, can we do anything further with this, or do we need to put it up to, we find out about finances with this,
Well, I'm
I
not
have
can
no
you put anything up at all.
But
It sounds like
we're trying to
state of
find money
emergency.
and
is it flooding now?
there are several areas that are flooding now, yes.
So will you,
We're trying to clean them
will
out.
you
as
do
we're-
this all as a package, all the four?
The four.
You'll come to
do
the town for the
yes.
four?
Yeah.
Well, where were you doing budget?
This has just came up on the 14th.
Yeah.
That's the same.
The 17th, I really.
So it's really, it's, yeah,
Well, but maybe they can find it. Do you think it'll work?
I know we have, I'm sure we're gonna find, we have reserve money. And it's just gonna be how to.
Well, let's listen to the beaver expert. Take the emotion out of it. Listen to the beaver
Hard to take
experts
the
who've already looked into the area.
I'm crying.
It's not,
I
his whole
know. I
life.
love the beavers, right?
But yeah, well, like I said, I mean, I can't say, but,
When do you have a meeting?
I think it's, Thursday or Friday, I
Okay.
can't remember honestly, I don't know.
So, John, do you have the previous math that was done to compare the different routes?
I've never heard of the math.
Jaggar, do you know where we can find that? Because I'd like to compare that this time as well, so we can be sure that we're making the best decision moving forward based on old and new data.
So what did you ask for?
I was curious where the math is that was done previously. It was before I was on the board, I think, right before I joined.
Yeah,
Just say-
geez, I'll look
Math.
through
Math
my
matters.
files. It's either in my files or in the office files, but I'll look in mine as well.
We can have Heather look for it.
I know, I was a year when it, that's what occurred. I think I remember, I never.
It would be good to
That's
also,
true. Yeah, this was back when Barbara was the
Right.
director.
Oh, before I came here.
before you, okay. It would just be good to review that and then also see if that's changed. The economics might have changed in, I guess, sounds like 10 years or so.
I know a lot of towns use the beaver,
Yeah.
because they are more.
Well, it's not just an economic decision too, because the state leans heavily on you know, that they want the towns to use non-lethal methods as much as possible because of the keystone, beavers being keystone and so important to wetlands being healthy. So, and wetlands are actually part of what helps with flooding, again. And, you know, yes, when it was the Army Corps of Engineers that did, you know, go along and say this parcel, this parcel, this parcel. So, and I'm sure it was pennies on the dollar. You know, what do they call that? Eminent domain? States have that right.
They
No,
don't.
no,
Taken.
So, it sounds though like Island Road is pretty serious
Yeah,
and there is only one solution. It sounds like.
he said,
So
he
is that
said he wants to
something-
do both.
Well,
but
he wants to try. Yeah, he wants to try because again, that's, you know, they've been surprised.
I thought he was saying though that he had to move them first and then he would put it.
I was so,
The
I
deceiver.
don't know, we ordered a pipe already, cause we had to purchase the pipe, which is not on that price, which is, I have no idea how much that's gonna be.
So for Island Road, was he clear that he was gonna try the deceiver first or that he had to get rid of the beavers and then?
No, he was trying to receive it, his goal was to need to be done.
Okay.
He didn't say the time frame whether it could possibly wait till season or it needs to be done.
Okay.
But he will be here to clean them and maintain them, so. I'm sure we get reports for that.
I just wanted to make sure that
Professional, just to get.
No, I
I just
understand
clean
that.
them and.
I just wanted to be sure that at that location, if that might have to happen anyway, that we consider.
Yeah.
Before just waiting, whereas the other two, I understand the argument of. Give it a couple days to have the expert come to work, give it a couple days for you to talk to the town admin, et cetera. See what the budget looks like. But again, I didn't want to ignore the issue at Island Road if it didn't.
They're all at their limits, honestly, to be honest. They're all at their limits.
Did this,
So the problem with the one on Island Road is like I said, the beaver didn't block the culvert, which is easy to clean. He made a 300-foot dam.
Yeah.
Out into, out in the wetlands, which is all Army Corps of Engineer land, which I don't even know if we can. What,
Actually,
Yeah.
yeah, we ran
Yeah.
into, Dave, you're gonna have to check that out. When we ran into that at a different location of the town, we could not touch it because it was Army Corps of
I
Engineers.
know we can't touch trees or anything, I have several calls in, but nobody knows who I need to talk to be able to do this.
So Jaipar and or John, I want to look more into this concept that, although I do believe the data suggests these are working, I want to understand more about how the beavers might move to make sure that whatever choices we make are sustainable. Is there someone that either you talked to before that we could talk to now about beaver behavior to make sure that we understand we're making the right long-term decisions?
Well, and not every solution requires that the beavers move. In fact, some of the solutions, actually kind of create a, like a secondary site, at which point the beavers take that secondary site, that's made with the piping and such, and make that where they build their dam. And so the water is not impeded through like a culvert, and the beavers don't move. So it's not like you're chasing, quote unquote, chasing or kicking the can down the road. It really depends on the install site and what can be done, which is all about how deep the water is or how deep the water is not. So every installation's a little different, and not all installations move beavers. In fact, most of the installations we have beavers staying where they are because the water's deep enough that they can then make a dam away from where they were damming up something. So it's a little different. Yes, we were working with Michael Callahan, who started Beaver Solutions, and now he does mostly touring of the country and of the world and teaching people about how to coexist with beavers, because he's done very well with his solutions. And he's got people he's trained who are now doing the local business. And Dave, who's your contact
It
person?
is, I wanna say, it's something, John Egan.
Yeah,
Mhm.
John. Yeah, so John
There's
John
Michael
was, yeah, John
Callahan's
was,
name on here as well.
yeah, John was Michael's right-hand person. So John is, very knowledgeable and has been there for a long time. So John knows what he's talking about. Um, so so
For both of those associated with the business though, that sells and maintains these?
yes, there's a business aspect to
But-
Beaver Solutions.
So I'm curious, since we have Glenn on the phone, he has a very long career. If you know of people that we could chat with that are experts in this area that are not running a company, and I'm not saying I don't believe the people running the company, but it would be nice to have independent verification. Because I understand, what I'm hearing is the community feels very strongly about this. I want to make sure that we feel very confident in how we're making our decisions, what we're basing our decisions off of, both the scientific data, but also anything economic.
Hi, I'll just say that John at Beaver Solutions he works this whole region, Berkshires, the entire part of the state, and he's very respected as an expert on this kind of situation. I have done many beaver evaluations because, the Board of Health gets involved if there's a threat to public safety, health, welfare, access, septic systems, wells, those things being impacted, or flooding, flooding of structures. But otherwise, it is Beaver Solutions that comes out and proposes a solution. Here in the Connecticut River Valley, beavers are amazingly active in all of the tributaries to the Connecticut, up into the Berkshires, the hills, and they're ubiquitous everywhere. And so when there's a conflict, we do the 10-day permit from the Board of Health. There used to be DPW directors and old timers in towns that would trap beavers, but it's pretty much impossible to find anyone. Skip in Deerfield would travel to other towns to set the traps, but he's no longer with us. So there really are no other options unless you find some young person who has an interest maybe in taxidermy or something like that. I don't know. But Skip would trap them, and he knew families who would eat them. But that's not happening anymore. So it is pretty much the beaver deceiver route and trapping as a last resort.
Yeah,
Matt.
I'm reading that.
Matt, the people that, when I started my research with Mass Wildlife, they specifically directed me to Beaver Solutions. The state uses Beaver Solutions. They relied on Beaver Solutions to inform them about decisions along Mass Pike and roads off of Mass Pike. So they are not a business first. They have a business because what they wanted to do was show people and show towns these things work. So that's actually how they got into it. But they started off as a research and information central, and do a lot. A lot of their work is actually out in the West that is really rediscovering how useful beavers are to setting up healthy ecologies. So Michael started teaching and traveling so much that he just, he decided that was what he was going to do. So they are, if you look them up, they show up in any kind of seminar, literally across the world, about people's renewed interest in having beavers help restore ecologies. So you can contact them, and they're kind of the gold standard of information right now.
Dave, when somebody was talking before and it said, once you fix this problem, they move. Does this recognize that, this deceiver thing?
Well, if you read the studies, it says trapping, like you take the one beaver, you catch one beaver, another one's coming back the next night. So
Right,
there's always more beavers. So you're not getting, it's a short-term solution. You might solve it for like a week or so.
the trapping,
Trapping.
all right, I'm
Beaver
asking,
deceivers are a long-term solution when they're done properly.
What it is in the name, and that's what I understand, it's deceiving the
trick
people.
them,
Yeah.
So they're living there in harmony, doing
Right.
what they need to do as the water is able to flow where it needs to flow.
Yeah, the beavers will move on because they can't raise the water level any higher because the deceiver controls the water level. So eventually the beavers run out of food, and then they move on to a place where they have better access to the food, which is small trees and bark, and twigs and that kind of stuff. But then those bushes and trees recover, and beavers will come back periodically, maybe on a 12 to 15-year cycle. They'll come back and repopulate an area after they've eaten all the food from that area, but it still is a wetland area. And the deceiver does require maintenance, especially after storms. Things need to be readjusted. But it is a solution for that particular spot. It does not translate to another location because each individual deceiver is customized for the particulars of that location. So they're highly, it's definitely a skill to be able to do what Beaver Solutions does. And they've been doing this ever since the ballot initiative was passed. And this whole program was literally dumped on the boards of health. It was an unfunded mandate that was dumped on boards of health. And we have introduced legislation several times to have this turned back over to the state, but it has never gained traction in the legislature.
Thanks, Glenn and Jacquard. The reason I asked that, not only because I want to make sure that we're, as knowledgeable as we can for the constituents, with Jacquard not coming back, she knows more than all of us combined about this. So I wanted to make sure that we were clear on what sources we should be conferring with moving forward. Cause this isn't gonna change. I'm sure in 30 years, whoever's sitting here is gonna have the same problem.
Well, it's whether or not we choose a short-term solution or a long-term solution.
Well, and that's one of
It
the
makes
reasons
more
I wanna,
sense long-term.
that's why I wanna bring the folks in, because I wanna understand the biology of the animal a little bit more and understand that cause it sounds like everyone's agreeing that it's not I don't wanna say it's not a permanent solution, because it is, but it's a transiently permanent solution, if that makes sense. So I wanna understand, is that something where we're gonna have beaver deceivers every 2 feet? Or there is a point that they've seen where you sort of saturate the area?
Set all the culverts,
Right.
they build it all the culverts, so we're eventually gonna have one at every culvert.
Right, so to be fair, I'm not looking, right now, I'm not thinking specifically about this, because I feel like we're gonna gather some more information and we'll return to it. But I do wanna think 30 years down the road to make sure that we're making the right choices.
Well, we can readdress our,
Yeah.
beaver policy, but for tonight, we got Island Road, Railroad, Bowling Alley, Auburn, Wetlands, and Causeway Street.
And those, as long as we find the money, we'll be taking care of. Was just here to answer questions. I'm not asking for it. I quit. I want, I mean, I want everybody to be happy, and I just don't, yeah, it's not gonna happen. With what we have, we're gonna try to alleviate the situation. And and of course, like everything else, comes down to money.
And the beaver receivers have worked in the past in the other areas where they've been put.
It's just, and it shouldn't be about this, but I have to think about my new position as well, as how much money am I gonna have to? Is this gonna be more than my entire DPW budget in 10 years? And that goes under budget every year, because of course DPW doesn't make money as all the other ones do. So it's a lot to think about on my end, and again, we're here to do what we need to do, but there's other things that we.
But is the cost of sending your people out to clean out the culverts every night to fix?
But again, it's, if you look at a lot of the laws, I cannot do that. It's, so, you know,
But what are we
we're,
doing now? What?
yeah, we're on an emergency basis. With the crew we have, everything we do is on an emergency basis. We do not maintain, everything we do is with our crew is so limited.
We need a more permanent solution than a short term.
That's why I wanna look.
That should be the.
That's why I wanna look more
Yeah.
into it, because I also want him to be able to go to the powers that be and say, look, we did the math. My budget has to increase X, because we're either gonna handle it ourselves or we're gonna handle it externally, but this is a problem and this is how
But
we think it would
DPW
go.
always has to do something related to this.
Right,
Yeah, cause
So
I
I
mean, the
wanna
reason
arm
it's
him
in my
with
lap is because it's an emergency and it's wrecking roads. I mean, it's ultimately
It's our road.
your problem, it's the Board of Health's.
Yeah.
Well,
Jurisdiction.
and, you know, Mike will feel like this is a deja vu conversation that he's gonna have with you whenever. Cause, you know, he's already had that, and, Jim McKay was not so convinced when we started, but he got very convinced when he started crunching what it costs to do those emergencies and versus the install and the, you know, the yearly maintenance, so. You know, it's, a lot of this is just people getting educated about, and keeping track of the numbers, you know, and then comparing numbers, so. But yeah, Matt, I'm happy to kind of gather what I have as research and information, and, you know, we can consolidate it in the Board of Health office. But, you know, don't hesitate to pull me in either, because I mean, I'm the one who kind of dug into this, and still have people I talk to at Mass Wildlife, about different things, so I'm happy to pass those contacts on as well.
And I just forwarded an email to John and Carol with a whole bunch of links for resources for beavers. You can forward that email to whoever needs it, but it does list the Beaver Solutions folks, but also the Beaver Institute, you know, and these are all pro wildlife MSPCA, other organizations. And then it has a link to an excellent video that I actually attended. It was put on at a farm, or it featured a farm in this part of the state where they had a lot of flooding problems, but they figured out through water control devices how to coexist with the beavers. And they actually have great footage of the wildlife that comes to visit. So that's resources that you can tap into. It's just an email that I sent to both of you.
Thank you.
Excuse me, this is Kara Krinsky, and I sent in the letter about the Auburn Road wetlands. And I understand y'all have a lot of research and everything to do to determine what the best solution is. But what I need to understand is, what is the interim plan to keep the land from flooding? So while you do your research and determine whether or not you're going to put a beaver deceiver there, or whether you're going to trap the beavers, or whatever you're going to do about them, what is the interim plan to maintain the flow of water through the lands?
Having
Again, this is not a DPW issue, this is a Board of Health issue, where I'm getting this and I'm paying for it.
Mhm.
I don't know, my hands are tied just as much as anything else, there's laws where I cannot do this, the beaver deceiver is the only situation I have for trapping.
That's what the health department.
Yeah, that's, I can't make any promises, that's all I can do is find money to put in with what everybody wants.
So it sounds like we need to pressure test some scenarios. Let's pretend they meet with, I'll say, Mike, and he says, I'm not giving you any money. Do we have?
He's not gonna say that.
I know, but I just want to pressure test the scenarios, because, and I do agree with you. It's still gonna cost money to do the trapping. Do we have a mechanism in place where, like, you can do that, or do we have to meet and approve that? Because what I don't want to do is kick the can down the road 2 to 4 weeks and people are having issues. Because we
Well,
didn't.
I wanna get a little more information on what is the actual issue. So when you say the water is on the land, what does that mean? I don't know what that means. Is it the water, is it up to your back steps? I'm not clear.
Oh, you're asking me?
Yes, yes.
Yes, sorry. The water, so there's wetlands that run from the railroad tracks behind my house. It runs parallel to Auburn Road all the way down to Richardson's Pond. That's that wetland is full of wildlife and trees and all of this stuff. And when that floods, that kills all the trees. It's killed all the baby ducks in several years because they nest back there. It floods and it starts to come into my yard, and then I cannot have my lawn mowed. We end up with lakefront property, basically.
Right. So unfortunately, by the regulations of the state that we're bound to as a Board of Health, that doesn't constitute an emergency. Emergency, and I'm saying this in terms of the timeline, if it's an
And I'm not looking
emergency.
to rush the timeline, and I understand
Right.
all that, but what I want to know, what is the interim plan to maintain the water flow through, so that it flows from Richardson's Pond through the wetlands, through the channels that were dug back there, goes under the culvert and flows along appropriately. There needs to be an interim plan in place to manage that. Because once if the beaver plugs that up tonight, this will be flooded out within 3 days. And then if they clear,
What is this? What is this is flooded out? I don't know what that
the
means.
entire 12 or 15 or 20 acres or whatever it is that is behind my house, that is wetlands, that'll be completely flooded. It goes from 3 drainage ditches that are usually, I could probably, can't quite jump across it if that's a good description, to a complete lake. And then it comes into the backyards, not just mine, but my neighbors' backyards, and closer and closer to the houses. So it needs to be maintained. The trees are dying. So the canopy that protects the wetland is being destroyed. The wetland itself is being destroyed. It's turning into more of a swamp. And the wildlife is being impacted, as well as those of us that live along here.
And that's, and not that I'm saying that we don't need to address this, it does need to be addressed, but that is part of what a wetland does. It has more water, and then it filters it and it dissipates, and it has more water and it dissipates. It's not a.
But when, I understand that too, but when that culvert's plugged, it no longer flows.
Right.
It becomes a lake. And
That's
that's,
wonderful.
a difference. So I'm curious as to what the interim plan is while everybody gets their ducks in a row of what's the appropriate
Yes,
solution, what's the interim plan?
Ellen.
It takes me a while, Carol, but I get there.
I would
We
say,
have
I
two
would say,
available to the Board of Health. We have beaver deceivers and we have 10-day permits for emergency trapping. That's all we have, our tool belt.
that's it, that's it.
That's all we got.
That's all,
they-
that's all,
they
that's
give
all
us.
any Board of Health has.
Right, because we're
Right.
not funded, we're not funded for
We don't
this.
use- We don't have,
We don't have other options.
yeah.
That's
don't
all we
have
got.
that.
But that culvert that she's talking about is on your list.
That's the Auburn one.
Okay,
We're already
so
talking about it.
we're looking for money to get that culvert, right?
Yes,
Tell her, she looks so
Dave's
sad.
gonna need money.
And I'm sure we're gonna get it, and it just, like I said, it's like every time, so we're going through the motions, and I know everybody's worried, just and it's,
It'll happen.
like I said, I don't know what to say,
I'm sure.
we keep an eye on it, and and if you see it backing up, I don't know if it's you personally that call, but we get calls and we run down there and check it. And once the deceiver's in, like I said, I hope it works, and it has worked in other areas, so.
Well, I'm sure in this particular area, you don't want to be running down that are clear because you can't clear it with machinery, as I'm sure you know, I'm sure you've been down there.
No, we had the violators for the guys, and they go waist deep in there and they take care of it.
It's, sorry, it seems to be clear
Oh, that
right
one's
now.
not waist deep, so they're lucky there. It's never
When
waist
it's
deep,
deep,
but
it is.
you can't get
But
machinery in there.
Yeah.
It seems to be clear right now.
Yeah, well,
There's
even
no
when
evidence
when the
We're
deceiver
dry
guy
right now, yeah.
maintained it, he said it looked good, he didn't see any
Evidence of Viva.
fresh beaver cuts or anything, so.
I saw them down there about 3 weeks ago doing some stuff, but because it's been so dry and we haven't had a lot of rain, we're lucky, right? We're in a very lucky period for that right now.
I want to stress that, we've been in a drought.
Yeah.
And that's what, like, in my place, I don't wake at night, I wake up and I'm there, oh my God, are we gonna lose the whole alley? All of a sudden I see we're gonna get 3 inches of rain, is the colors are both covered. They're covered.
Hopefully he gets some money.
Right,
He needs
let
money.
me see what I got.
Ellen, he needs money. Make that happen.
And, and the pipe, like I said, we ordered the pipe in hopes that they say they can come next week, so the parts we need to have are on order, so we will be ready when they say go.
Tell Mike I support you.
Alright.
That'll get you nowhere.
Like I said, Mike didn't have a problem with it, he said we had to talk to Jody and find
Great.
money, so.
Okay,
And I don't
that's
see it being an
good.
issue, it just,
So there's money. Somewhere.
there's always money for
somewhere,
somewhere.
there's emergency stuff.
All right. Plan beaver receiver,
Yes,
definitely for the 3, possibly for the other.
the 4 on the list, these are the 4 emergencies we have, right?
So do we need to vote on?
I don't
there's anything
think there's
to do tonight.
like I said, I was just asked to be here to hopefully
We support
calm
you.
some people. I don't know what to say, I'm just, yeah, we're here to help.
Thank you, Rich, thank you, Rich.
All right.
All right, folks, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I think this is about it, and now I can back to.
Nothing to vote,
Everybody
so-
don't need her, no. There's no other reason I need to be here, correct?
Yeah, it is.
Thanks, Ellen.
Thanks, Dave.
No problem, thank you. And again, anytime, just let me know.
Thank you for
We'll find
listening,
it.
Carol, sorry if I got emotional, it's just.
I know you're mostly involved,
Well,
but
it's, and yeah,
we got a public meeting, gotta move along. That's all.
gotcha.
Thank you, everyone.
All right, thanks, good night, everyone.
Okay, next on our agenda is 7:41. We have the update to well regulation 7.7 for deed restriction, 7.8 witness at sampling. Okay, so for our updated well regs, got it bringing up. We need to put in a statement that says, either a professional, tester or witness sampling of the water prior to, transfer of property. Make sure testing is collected properly. Coming. All right, 7 point. Oh, okay, right,
It's right there.
okay, all right.
Then we have one down here, two of these. 7.7 and 7.8.
Okay. Okay, so under 7.7, we want to add volatile organics or PFAS as 20 PPT or greater detected. Then a document should be recorded in the Norfolk County Register of Deeds, which identifies the chemicals, their concentrations, and their health effects. The registry of deeds will be required for the sampling of the well. Registry of deeds. What is that?
So
Registry of deeds will be required for the sampling of the well.
it means everything, really, it means all the chemistry goes up there to the registry of deeds. So we don't even have to have the PFAS 2020, because we're just saying, all the results will go to the registry of deeds.
Okay, so
So we don't even need this
we
section.
just need to state under the registry of deeds that all results will be sent to the registry of deeds.
Right,
For all required sampling of the well will be submitted to the registry of deeds. Yeah,
do you want me to put something here? What do we want me to put there? The registry of deeds?
okay, probably start with, the result of above testing shall be submitted to the registry of deeds. If over,
What is that?
Isn't that already captured and shall be recorded in the registry of deeds?
Before was only for VOCs.
Sorry, what?
Before was only for VOCs.
No, I just mean the sentence. I just mean the second red sentence. It looks,
registry of deeds will be required for the sampling of the well.
I don't understand what it means.
Registry of deeds will be required for the sampling, basically everything. Sampling itself. I see what you're saying, the sampling results,
Yes.
sampling results.
Can I ask a question about, so the registry of deeds, they accept documents that are connected to a deed by reference. So that would be a deed restriction or a deed notice. And if the well test comes back and is positive, then that would be for the Board of Health to evaluate. The next step would be to require treatment to make it a potable water supply.
Well,
And
it has some,
if the water is potable with treatment, then that treatment system needs to be maintained, and that should be a deed notice that's recorded by the property owner that this water supply is potable, but the treatment system must be maintained so that it's not
Yeah.
taken out when the property is sold.
when
So that would be a
test
deed
these-
notice.
When we test these people and they have failure, we make them do a filter. And then I sign a COC, I has to be no failure, so that's already taken up. This is just different from that saying you gotta have it on record. So 50 years from now, someone who buys the house again knows they have to retest. You don't.
If they have volatile organics or PFAS in their well.
Yeah, but we should just cover everything, really, why not? Or if you wanted to,
For
all the chemical testing.
the deed restriction.
If any concentrate is greater, shall we record, do you get a chance to fix it before you record something at the registry?
There's a remediation in another section of our,
Because if you get the test and you just record it, well, You can't unrecord
Right,
it.
yeah, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. That should be off thing because it should be filtered not to allow that to happen. All right,
Yeah,
so take it.
the registry wouldn't be recording any test results. They would be recording a deed notice to alert a potential buyer that this property, the potable water supply for this property requires treatment in order for it to be considered potable by the Board of Health. And you could specify what kind of treatment is occurring in the deed notice, but then that gets notarized and recorded, and a copy has to be submitted to the Board of Health.
I think we have remediation in another section of the,
Wait a minute, I gotta ask this question. You're gonna require testing of septic of a private well.
private well
Right.
upon transfer
Drinking.
of
So
property.
if you detect anything that goes above something, you're gonna put that on record so that anybody that looks at the history that wants to buy that sees this.
Some people have things that show up, but it's not against what the regular says. It goes over. You can have small amounts, but it doesn't go over the danger area.
It's like certain chemicals that the state wants to know
Right, right.
about. So the volatile organics, it's, you know,
Don't you think every well in town is gonna come up with something?
well, they're only tested upon sale or transfer.
Right.
So we're not requiring testing of wells.
Well, I live there.
Yeah.
So
So
when
when
I,
you sell your house, the next person's gonna wanna get what's in the water.
oh,
They get the well,
do a lot of towns have this?
well, now it's like PFAS and all these,
Right,
you know. We're learning more about
I
our
know,
drinking water.
I know,
It's a little bit more than just.
too much information in my
Yeah.
book.
So keeping this, the registry of deeds will be required for the sampling results of the well. That's what we should have. Because it's basically any result you have should be sent to the registry
Yeah,
of
but
deeds.
but the Registry of Deeds does not record
I don't-
anything that's not associated with a deed. It has to be related to a deed. That's why they're called the Registry of Deeds. They record deed instruments, and the only options that we have as the Board of Health are deed restrictions, like the bedroom count deed restriction,
Mhm.
or a deed notice for alternative
Oh, we do
leach
have that.
fields.
We do have that coming up with it. We do have that.
Or-
We've actually developed a registry of deeds with this, connected to this.
What's the
The other thing
document
that we can do are deed notices related to potable water supplies.
Hold on.
So
Yeah,
that
John,
when treatment is required for it to be potable, that is noted
Hold on.
as a deed, an addendum to the deed or a deed notice.
Hold on.
I've never heard of an addendum to the deed.
Yeah,
Well,
you
there's-
can't just record any document at the Registry of Deeds.
No, you
I
can't.
know.
You can't just
know.
walk down with well results and record it. It
They have a
doesn't work that
list.
way.
I know it's going to.
Yeah, and it has to be notarized
Yeah.
in order for them to accept it.
Oh,
So,
it's not really that amazing.
it could be a deed notice related to treatment, but not the test results themselves.
I think there's such a thing as a deed notice related to treatment. Dan, have you ever heard of that?
No, but if there's a Board of Health requirement for treatment of a drinking water well for a property, I can certainly see that you could record a document that documents the required treatment. But looking back at that language, is it really the intent that any detection of VOCs at any level triggers the requirement to record a notice?
I hate that.
Sorry, but the levels of,
I was gonna say,
Listed above.
it needs to be at like,
yeah,
High.
it's at the levels that were listed.
Needs to be lethal.
Well, it should be at or above the reportings, the thresholds for drinking water standards that are established by Massachusetts, not just any detection.
Do they change?
Yeah, they changed their level.
Periodically, yeah.
Periodically, yeah. there's maximum
310
contaminant
CMR
levels.
22, I think, specifies
Yeah.
all the required thresholds, that, you can have you can detect some level of contaminants, but it's not a problem. You have to exceed the threshold, and every contaminant has a specific threshold established by CMR.
So this is the notice of variances, deeds and restrictions covenant, and this is the exact. And then they have to send that sampling in with this notice. You see what I'm saying, Glenn?
Yes, but
You read
recording the test results, I don't think would be a proper thing to do with the Registry of Deeds. You would specify the type of treatment that is occurring there that is necessary to make it a potable water supply.
This
But
is
the
what this
test results, the test results really are that really separate. And again, you would end up having, many pages of documents at the Registry of Deeds that should be in the Board of Health files.
And this document says exceeds state or federal maximum contaminant levels, right? So your regulations should use the same language.
And we do, we actually have the levels for each of the different components of VOC.
Right.
Benzene, carbon tetrachloride, like we break it down, we took that from the state. The levels are from the state.
Similar to the bedroom, but it's not the bedroom, it's the sampling from the well. Filed at the registry. If not, we can talk to MTC, the lawyers, and find out what we can do.
I thought the Volta Organics was something in the state, right? That said it had to be registered or recorded with the Registry of Deeds. I don't know about the rest of the results. We can ask about that.
Are you people done reading this? So I was gonna, okay.
Yeah.
So. What else is?
Where was that document from? Just from the state?
It's us, it's me,
Oh, okay.
yeah. And this is this one right here, so we're gonna have to wait for this,
Yeah,
okay, so.
I don't think we,
Well, I think we have to even adjust the first line, any concentration of volatile organics.
This is what we had before. This is what we
I
had
know,
before.
but it also, I know it's stricken, but it also has the 20 PPT of PFAS. I thought that we had a table elsewhere or we send them to the federal and the state. Right, laws, so it's, because we wanted to do it in a way that we didn't have to update these constantly, that they wouldn't be
yeah, we
consistent.
their state's guidelines for all these different chemicals. Like, this is what the state says it's safe, that's what we do.
Exactly, but
We
the
do.
first line is not consistent with that intention.
Exceeds the levels in. Where's the?
Yeah, something like that. If any
Right.
concentration of volatile organics or PFAS exceeds the levels
Where was that language?
as stated wherever.
Had that language up there from the other document.
Yeah. All right, so we want to.
I think the last sentence, if I'm reading the intention right, needs to say something to the effect of, in the case that the concentration of volatile organics and PFAS are detected at greater than threshold limits, the Registry of Deeds would then include the same thing, results or something. I'm not entirely sure that's necessary though, if there's already a deed restriction.
Yeah.
Right, because the point of the deed restriction is so if someone buys a house, they know, hey, I need to have a system in place.
And you
to
maintain
ameliorate
the
this,
system.
And I maintain a system. So I'm not also convinced that a current, or whatever the testing necessarily matters, because someone's gonna do new testing when they sell or buy a house with a well.
Well, you should be testing anytime you buy a house with a well.
Yeah, and the document that shall be recorded with the Registry of Deeds should specify the type of treatment that has been installed in order to make the water supply potable and approved by the Board of Health. So that would be how that would be recorded on the deed that way.
If they need a filter, a certified filter, right?
Yeah, well, it depends on what the chemical is, what the contaminant is. It could be a filter, it could be an ion exchange, it could be reverse osmosis. There are different treatments for different contaminants, but all of that I would specify that in the deed notice that's recorded that says that this water supply, in order to be considered potable, includes treatment provided by, and you would just specify what the treatment is, because when you put in that kind of system, you have the before test and then the after treatment test. After it goes through the treatment, it meets the standard, but that also requires regular maintenance. Those systems, the ion exchange cartridges may need to be replaced, refurbished. If it's activated carbon, those things get saturated at some point, and then you get breakthrough. So there's different kinds of treatment, and you would specify what that treatment is. And they typically have an associated maintenance schedule with those that they contract out with a contractor that comes and swaps out the canisters, whatever the treatment system is. Even reverse osmosis systems have a membrane. Those membranes break down after a while because they're under very high pressure. And so they get replaced. Their cartridges, they get replaced. So
We just leave it as it is now, what was before in here, and then work it out, and come back to it.
Okay, but should we adjust 7.7, let's say something like, if any concentration of volatile organics is greater than the state determined limits are detected, we have state determined limits above.
Well, where do you want to put this? Right here?
Under 7.7,
Yeah,
You should
Any
use this state language, which is maximum contaminant level.
or action level. They
so
also have
what
action
are you
levels for
writing?
things that don't have MCLs.
You're changing 7.7, if any concentration of volatile organics, what did you just say, Dan?
are at maximum contaminant.
are at,
Exceed maximum contaminant levels.
okay, let me, MAX.
IMUM,
Okay, what's come next?
contaminated levels.
Contaminated what again?
Levels,
It's contaminant.
contaminants.
No D.
Contaminant, ANT.
Okay. And what's it, how do you spell it, MIN?
MINANTS. Okay.
Levels, right, what goes next?
Specified in
What was that?
310 CMR 22.
Like,
Specified in
310 CMR
in
Yep, in
310.
310,
CMR, all caps.
22.
okay.
Strike the word detected.
Yeah, get detected out.
Okay, that a document shall be recorded in the Norfolk County Registry of Deeds, identifies the chemical, the concentration, health effects, and then we wanted to add and remediation methods installed and associated maintenance.
I don't know, do you want any health effects? Read it, get all, read
Yep.
it and get all.
How are you supposed to,
What
what's
then?
the language that's gonna describe the health effects, right? There's that's a weird one. Like, how are you gonna do that?
We can remove self.
Kind of squishy, right?
It just needs to be consistent. The state would, right, or the federal government's gonna have a chemical concentration, that'll be that.
Okay.
That should be sufficient.
Yeah,
So
the
we just want to
chemicals
identify-
and their concentrations, and
Period.
everything else is outlined in 310 CMR 22.
Yeah.
Alright.
You
That's
should
clean.
change the at maximum to up there. It shouldn't be at maximum. It should be exceeds the maximum.
Yeah,
If any of
Are
the
you with that, Dan?
contaminants exceed the maximum contaminant level.
strike R, John.
Right,
What's that?
Right before.
Get rid of the word R, right there, back it up.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because you're
Yeah,
looking
we've
for
struck out-
exceedances.
We've struck out PFAS. Is that our intention to do so?
Yeah.
It looks like the state's adopting new PFAS standards, so
Do we need to?
It might
edit them?
change, who knows?
John, you need to go down Registry of Deeds, which identifies the chemicals and their concentrations, period.
Chemicals, what was that,
And-
chemicals?
Yeah,
And,
yeah,
okay, hold on. And what?
yeah, their concentrations,
You already get.
you already have there,
Oh, yeah,
get back. Period after concentrations, delete the rest. There you go.
And again, I would recommend that you include the type of treatment required in order to make the water supply considered potable by the Board of Health. So it's really the treatment that is the type of treatment that's necessary, that's being identified in this notice. And,
Do you wanna,
so you could strike the and after concentrations, put a comma.
straight, I get rid of this and
Yep,
chemicals, their concentrations.
comma,
and the treatment required by the Board of Health.
In the,
is it remediation?
Treatment
Yeah.
systems required by the Board of Health.
yeah.
and the treatment systems, what?
Systems required.
By Board of Health.
Glenn, you had to make. What was the language you wanted after
Well,
that?
in order for the water supply to be considered potable.
So in order for
but
the
that-
water supply
you
to
can
be
just
considered.
you could just assume that if you wanted to.
Sure.
It's just that the treatment system is the key part here because the water supply is not potable without the treatment. It is after the treatment, if it's appropriate. The treatment takes care of the problem. But the new owners need to understand that there is a cost associated with that, and regular maintenance is required for any treatment system.
Alright, there was another.
This is the
change.
one, 7.9, we wanted to witness, Board of Health is required for homeowner, forms, water quality sampling. Professional certified laboratory employee can take the sampling without the witness. I think that's fair.
How many times has this ever happened?
We've had a couple, we've had one that they took the samples without me. And I said, oh my God, I said, the guy, I need to be witnessing this. And he goes, I didn't take it, it was the guy who's doing the testing. So they're really good with the test, they're professionals. So I said, I talked to Cal, I said, can we just let this pass as it is? Because it makes sense. You're gonna get someone who knows what they're doing.
I guess I have a concern that a Board of Health witness might not be fully qualified.
Like a health agent?
I mean, if I were to go tomorrow and tell someone that they need to sample water.
Oh, right, yeah,
That's
yeah,
not a clue.
I know, this is why, I know, I mean, but,
Don't tell them that.
Yeah, right. So I just wanna make sure that we either think about what needs to be done to make sure the
Yeah.
appropriate person is available.
Well, it's
Or-
mostly gonna be count.
yeah, and I know what they have to do to some degree, I mean, I know. They do, I know, I've seen it before. But I understand where you're coming from.
Right, and I also don't want them to have to pay $10,000 for a certain person to come do it.
Right,
So I'm
right,
just
right.
trying to
Yeah.
understand.
Some it's very easy to have someone come over, take the samples, other companies like, we don't really come over. And if you do, we're gonna charge you this amount of money, lots of money. And some say we really can't come over to your house and test or take the samples. So. I mean, it's,
So we're adding,
So just to be clear, you feel comfortable that we would be able to add a qualified witness from some capacity at the Board of Health? And
Right.
either of these options would be fine.
yeah. Witnesses also
Yeah.
to protect fire and make sure they're taking it from that tap.
Well, that's one of the reasons I asked, because, and maybe I'm getting a little too ahead of myself, but I'd hate for John to be liable for something because he lacked a certain certification or something. I have no idea, I'm making this up. So I just wanted to pressure test this idea to make sure that it's consistent with what other.
well, I've got an
areas are
RS,
doing.
I've got an RS degree, CHO degree, so that would, I would say be. You know, and Glenn, you know about this,
I was
right?
gonna say Glenn.
And I know it goes to your Title V inspector, this whole issue. I understand where it's coming, but you know, the witness, but this is a different subject area.
Yeah, so I would say that yeah, I would be concerned. The main concern is what's called the chain of custody for the sample. So
Yeah.
that the chain of custody is maintained from the time the sample is taken until it's
Right.
delivered to the lab. So that would be something that I actually would do as a health agent. I would take the sample and drop it off the lab. But you know, that
That could go
depends on
to-
where
that
the
could go-
lab is
that could go
located.
north of- that
and
could
how
go-
much-
that could go to New Hampshire at some point
Yeah.
in time. Who
So
knows?
so a lot of times I would take the samples, I would box them up and ship them overnight to the laboratory. So, you know, that would be for a big sampling project, like at a landfill or something like that. But for a homeowner, you really have to just either grab the sample and drop it off the lab or make arrangements when somebody is doing a circuit. So some public water supply operators do circuits and they pass through the town because they're sampling places. You know, they have a regular kind of calendar that they use to pick up samples. And then there are also courier services that do pick up samples. And I would occasionally meet people on there because they would be going along Route 91 out through the Connecticut River. And I'd meet them somewhere and I'd give them all the samples. But you know, a lot of these samples have holding times that you have to get the sample to the lab within 24 hours. It has to be maintained on ice the whole time. So, you know, it can get complicated, but the key thing is to maintain the chain of custody for that sample from the time the sample is collected until it's delivered to the lab. So, you know, the companies that do the sampling, a lot of water testing companies, they'll go out and pull the sample because they want to sell you a treatment system. And that's where they make their money. But I don't know what your situation is there in Millis, what the,
Yeah,
you know,
all
what
the
your
ones we've had so
local-
far. All the ones we've had so far, Glenn, the lab has come down and take the samples,
Yep, that's great, because
But
they
I-
should be qualified to do that.
right?
Okay, all right, so we gotta vote on making those changes to the well regs. We happy with the witness?
Nitpicky, but the word before, it should be,
A witness
um,
from the Board of Health?
yes. And then also on the next line, a certified lab employee can perform the sampling.
And
perform the same, not take the same.
And you might also want to add that a registered sanitarian, professional engineer, or a certified public water supply operator. Those are all people that should be qualified to take samples. Like for public water supplies, that requires a professional engineer, but in this case, yeah, any one of those people would be qualified to take a sample, in my opinion. I don't know what Dan thinks, but
Stated to a witness from the Board of Health.
engineers are usually the ones that are there at the site during the pump tests and taking samples and doing all that sort of stuff for public water supplies at least.
From the Board of Health. We can specify or qualified.
Anyone else, Mike?
Or qualified engineered, registered sanitarian.
So you could, yeah,
Yeah,
change
or
change the at the next sentence to a.
Talking here, the
Yeah.
professionals?
Change that the to a. A professional certified laboratory employee, comma,
engineered.
a
Professional
registered professional engineer. Comma,
sanitarian.
a certified sanitarian,
Registered sanitarian.
registered sanitarian, yep.
Yeah.
Registered sanitarian, was it registered, was
Registered twice.
oh my God. Registered, what was that?
Sanitarian.
Sanitarian, that's right, I should.
Or
A certified public water supply operator.
Is there
What was
any,
that again, certified?
Certified
that?
public water supply operator. That's another certification related to
There-
water quality.
there are
Certified
4
public-
levels of that, Glenn. I used to be one of those, but then I didn't need it anymore. I don't know if it matters which level there is.
Water supply.
It would depend on the type of treatment system, but I don't think there are not many private water supplies that have like chlorination or
No,
any of those sorts of things. So I would think any level of a certified public water supply operator would. That's probably rare. That would maybe rarely happen, but there are
Yeah.
people that do that for a business. They go around and take samples and drop them off at the lab.
An operator.
Was that certified public water supply, what?
operator.
Operator, yeah.
So,
put a comma after sanitarian, John. And then an or.
yeah, or after that,
Certified
Yeah.
public supply.
That should do it.
Okay.
anything we're doing, okay, that's okay, that's just good. This, we're just holding back until we figure this out more, right here.
We can, if I make the changes, we did.
There a rush? Can we just make sure we get this part right?
Right,
Okay, I can. Well,
Like if you work on that offline, that we can
okay.
vote on it next time.
Of course, we can
And we have a new person. If we can get this right, I'm fine with it. I just wanted to make sure that we have the.
Any concentration of volatile organics, which is what we had before, exceeds maximum contaminant level specified in 310 CMR 22.0, which is what, that makes sense. A document should be recorded in Norfolk County Register of Deeds, which identifies the chemicals or concentration in the treatment systems required by the Board of Health. So the only change is that we're specifying maximum level, not any level.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we don't need the word any, right? I think it's if the concentration of volatile organics exceeds maximum.
Well, they're trying to specify like any component, volatile organic comp is like a group of chemicals.
Right.
So like any of them go over
So, okay, so the
the
any is,
maximum.
the any is not modifying concentration, it's modifying the volatile organic.
If any of the
Now,
chemicals qualified as.
so then it should say if the concentration of any volatile organics.
Okay.
Right.
That's where any in
So
front,
what's this, right, where am I putting this?
right there.
Any concentration of what?
If the concentration
Yes,
of any
of what?
A and Y volatile organics, and then switch.
Any, wait, so was it, any, what's, is that?
Yeah, and then change the any before concentration to the.
It's the concentration.
Wait.
The concentration, yeah,
Get rid of any here, right, any,
Right.
the,
what's that?
THE. If the concentration of any volatile organics exceeds maximum contaminant level specified at 310 CMR 22.0, the document should be reported in the Norfolk County Register of Deeds, which identifies the chemicals or concentration in the treatment systems required by the Board of Health.
That sounds right.
Does that sound,
Mm-hmm,
that sounds better to me?
much better.
I agree, all right.
Okay.
Okay.
So we don't need to wait.
I think so. All right, so motion to amend the well regulations for the Board of Health. Section 7.7 to read. If the concentration of any volatile organics exceeds maximum contaminant levels specified in 310 CMR 22.0, the document shall be recorded in the Norfolk County Register of Deeds, which identifies the chemicals, the concentrations, and the treatment systems required by Board of Health. Can I get a second for that one? We'll do that one separate.
Second,
Okay, all in favor?
I,
Aye.
Aye.
All right, second amendment to the well regulations of the Board of Health. Under section 7.9, we are adding a statement at the bottom. A witness from Board of Health is required if the homeowner performs water quality sampling. A professional certified laboratory employee, registered professional engineer, registered sanitarian, or certified public water supply operator can perform the sampling without the witness. Motion to accept, can I get a second?
second,
All in favor?
I,
Aye. Oh, you're muted. That's how
Aye.
you say it. Okay, there you go.
I'm like clicking,
Alright.
clicking.
Okay, all right, 12 regs have been updated. All right, next on the agenda, post septic regulations changes, it is 8:21 PM. All right. We have. Septic regulations
so is
change,
that like going to Dan around the phone?
yeah,
Yeah,
yes. This is a,
Poor guys have had to come back like 30 times.
we're not gonna get this one done tonight.
yeah, this is good, it's.
No, you don't think you're gonna rip
Yes.
this out time?
Let's just talk about the biggies.
All right,
Yeah.
those are sticking points.
Yes.
Let's start our sticking point.
Yes. I thought my meetings were bad.
Hey,
No, this is a great meeting. It's a
I'm
great.
trying to move it along.
It's a great meeting. I love it.
Thank you.
I love it.
I'm sure you watch our YouTube.
I don't even watch
There we
my
go.
YouTube.
Right there.
Everyone watches the Board of Health.
Right here, so we got DM is who?
That's Dan American.
Wow. And GA is what?
On hairs.
Oh, right, okay, right. JM is me too.
All right, okay, all right, so. Perk rate. All right,
Yes.
so. Perk rates. The discussion is. Current. Perk rate is 30 MPI. Title 5 allows up to 60 MPI. So we've been trying to find like the basis as to why milk is 30 as opposed to 50, why it was originally set.
Because they were trying to stop development. That would be my guess.
20.
Hmm?
What does 20?
No, that's just the ones, just I picked up over the,
Okay, all right.
so just people that have 30 in other towns.
Okay, so looks like Dayton, North Attleboro, Taunton, Upton, Berlin, Yarmouth.
And that's the rest of that, I wouldn't worry about that stuff, the other stuff I would worry about.
All right. Okay.
Thanks, more.
All right. So if the perk rate is 60, it just means they need more space for the distribution system to allow for the same degree of treatment. But the septic systems are designed with those perk rates in mind. So what would be the negative and positive of changing it from 30 to 60? Is what we gotta understand. What are we gonna affect downstream? Because I'm a big believer in, I don't want to change something if I don't understand the
I
consequences.
love that.
So we're trying to figure this out.
I love that because most people just make a change and they have no consideration of what kicking, what that causes. Yes,
So what will it do to the town if we go from 30 to 60?
Dan,
Positive or negative, like
positive,
anything? This can be
positive.
like, we've been struggling to find out
The
why.
well, Dan, are you gonna chime in? You know more than me.
I'm going to chime in. So,
Okay.
number one, imposing a restriction on perk rate basically restricts the potential to develop housing units. Right? And we all know that we have a housing crisis and that developing housing units should be a priority, I think. So if you're going to restrict that, there has to be a good reason for it. And the 30 minutes per inch is basically because your regulations are so old that they date back to a former version of Title V where there was a 30-minute per inch limitation. And it's just never been updated to account for the fact that the state went to 60 because the state determined that up to 60 minutes an inch is reasonable for on-site sewage system treatment. And
And the state
For
is
new
compelled-
construction.
for new
Housing.
construction,
For
for
new
new
construction.
construction, it's slower
For
for
repairs, you can
repairs.
go past that.
Yeah, you can go to 90 for repairs.
Yeah.
But from the science perspective, a slower soil provides better treatment than a faster soil. A slower perk rate provides a better treatment of sewage effluent than a faster perk rate. So there's no scientific rationale to say 30 minutes an inch beyond that is a problem. Because, you know, those slower soils are providing better treatment because the water spends more time in the vertical soil profile getting treated by the millions and billions of bacteria that live in that profile. And that's why, you know, it's not a bad thing to have a slower a perk rate for a septic system. And you end up with the difference between a 30-minute perk rate system and a 60-minute perk rate system is probably a leaching field that's twice as large, something like that. So you account for the fact that the percolation rate is slower by building a much bigger system to provide a larger surface area to allow that effluent to percolate down through the soils into the underlying groundwater table. That's my 2 cents.
I would have said the exact same thing, but you went.
I'll add one unintended consequence, and that is that people will complain bitterly about the outrageous cost of putting in a system that has, twice or 3 times the footprint now, because you're allowing it to be, spread out over a larger area. And that in and of itself sometimes can be prohibitive. The cost can be pretty expensive, although there are ways to get around that with providing additional pre-treatment of the effluent before it goes to a leach field, which allows you to get that reduction. But anyway, that's one thing to consider, is that the cost of those systems is going to be substantially more than a standard system.
Which is still preferable to not build a new.
Well, won't the lot have to be larger size to build a
Accommodate it.
Yeah, the lot.
Yeah, not really. I mean, it depends. Yeah, you need a certain amount of room, but most of our zoning requirements provides a sufficient amount of space for a house and a septic system. So that doesn't usually come into play. But Glenn's right. A 60-minute system is gonna cost $50,000-$60,000 to build versus a 20-minute system, which might cost $30,000-$40,000 to build. It's a significant additional cost.
Yeah. It's the cost of the fill materials that are often brought in that really add up. Yeah.
There have been any studies on like nitrates getting into like the groundwater around septic sites at 60 versus 30? It's like our concern would be the contaminants getting into the water wells or drinking water system.
Well, if you're in 60-minute soils, you're nowhere near an area that's a public water supply, generally speaking. Those are areas that are not suitable for public water supplies.
And the nitrogen issue is theoretically covered by the 440 gallon per day limit per acre. That, that's a nitrogen sensitive loading rate. So I don't know what your zoning allows for as far as building lot size.
Zoning
But
requires what you mentioned. So there are some areas in zone 2s that are zoned for smaller than a 40,000 square foot lot. But our groundwater protection regulations in the zoning bylaws specify that you can't have more than 10,000 square feet per bedroom, basically. So it mimics Title V.
Yeah.
So you end up with a larger lot size if you're doing on-site septic.
What's the comment about seat planning board?
What's the what?
There's at the end, it says seat planning board.
that was my suggestion. My suggestion was just to give the planning board a heads up in case they were relying on the Board of Health regulations. They have been relying on them for a long time to limit development. I think the planning board should get a heads up that we're considering changing this regulation because, we've realized that it's outdated. It was prior to 1995 when Title V changed significantly. So, they could initiate a review of their zoning to see if they need to take any action.
there's a committee right now, that I happen to be on. And there's some planning board members on it. We're reviewing the whole zoning book. Oh, I'll be dead by the time we get to the last page, by the way. But, this town, we present ourselves, and the planning board does, and the zoning board does, and I know the select board does. We're presenting ourselves to want housing. We want housing. We recognize that that's the only way we're gonna survive. We need people to support our infrastructure and our businesses. I mean, that's the whole state's, the building the little things behind your houses, right? Everything, and the MBTA. Housing. And we present that. I know I do. So you can go to the planning board, obviously, but this doesn't follow that track. That's all. That's kind of what I'm here to say.
Sorry.
One more thing, we're looking at the zoning, we have some areas of zoning in Millis. Do you know in Millis, we don't have acre zoning anywhere? We jumped from 25 to acre and a half.
To 60.
Yeah, 60, well, I call that acre and a half. We've put in that we're gonna change that to acre zoning. It's snob zoning. We're not Sherburne, Dover. And seriously, and we don't wanna be, by the way. It doesn't work toward what we're working toward. That's all.
Another thing to keep in mind is that if your town has a 40B affordable housing proposal, the local regulations are waived typically anyway, and you go strictly with Title V. So this regulation would not apply to a 40B project, affordable housing project.
Oh, anyway, yeah, it's a good point.
I'm not hearing a compelling reason to keep it.
There is no science reason to keep it, really. You look at all the towns that have these restrictions on perk rate, it's because they don't want people to build new houses. It really boils down to that very simple fact.
So there'd be no negative health effect to the people who live, like, with private wells, with, no. That's what we just gotta keep in mind. There's no effect.
Well, again, if you have a private well and a septic system on the same lot, the nitrogen standards kick in. So you have to have 10,000 square feet per bedroom.
Yeah.
And if you're on a lot that has a perk rate of, say, 50 minutes an inch, and you have a well on that lot, it's a bedrock well. It's a well that's 400, 500, 600 feet deep, sealed off from the soil above. So no, I would say there is no risk to public health.
I just put in some, sorry, it's to say this,
Yeah.
I put in some pro 30 MPI. Though not strictly scientifically proven, and I tell you, like the density control of a high density housing on which, let's say, 50 to 60 MPI soil creates a mounding effect, because I've heard of mounding effects. I don't know how to calculate them. It's very difficult, and Dan, you'll probably be able to do it. I couldn't do it. Mounding effects where the groundwater table actually rises because the soil can't shed the water fast enough. You know what I'm saying? Dan and Ed, Glenn. But
Yeah, that does happen on very large systems.
right.
There are calculations that are made for very large systems, but not for residential size systems.
Yeah, on
Because
house
remember,
systems.
you're spreading the effluent out over a larger area.
Yeah.
So the mounding doesn't happen when you're talking about those kind of low volumes, but for very large systems, over 2,000 gallon a day systems, then you would want to do some kind of modeling to show that that system. But I don't think anybody would put a over 2,000 gallon a day system on a 60-minute an inch perk soil, because the size of that system would be, the size of I don't know what, a warehouse. It would be enormous.
It would be 3/4 of an acre just for the septic
Yes,
system.
just for the septic system.
No thanks. Wow, thanks. Okay.
Right.
I'm supportive of changing it. I don't feel like we've heard from Jack Carr on this thing.
I think I'm understanding it a little bit more. Oh, yeah. What do you think, Chigar?
I'm back to what Dan offered, which is, if we're wanting to support additional housing, then having a smaller field makes much more sense. And yet, is that really what,
8:38 p.m.
oops, you know, I mean, to me, that's a very true statement. And if the state is fine with 30,
60.
they are, correct?
State is fine with 60.
With 60, okay, with 60. Then I think that is something that I would feel comfortable doing, not to be pro-housing, but to be pro-reality. And, because if nothing else, it's as long as it's going to protect the aquifer, as long as it's going to do its job that it needs to do, then I think making it as accessible as possible is important. And you guys know me to, kind of dot the i's and cross the t's, but I think there has to be a practical component to regulations so people can use them for real life, as long as we're protecting, what we're supposed to protect in terms of the natural resource of water, which is it's just going to get more and more important to do that. But I haven't heard anything that dissuades me from, what we're considering.
I can make a comment on, okay, upgrade allows you to do 60 MPI.
90.
Upgrade
90,
90.
90, right, so that's 90. And I'm just thinking that they don't view the upgrade as being an issue per se. The DEP.
Or if you're doing an upgrade, you had a failure and you have to.
90 plus, failure, but. What I'm saying is if we think 30 is not good for a new construction, but we allow it to go, we don't include the upgrade with the 30. So the town itself determined that it wasn't that hazardous. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, I see what
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because it's not, you just take both, because they both can pollute, both could cause problems, but upgrades, no problem. New construction, we got problems, but you understand where that comes from.
Right.
That's the issue.
Yeah, one thing to remember here when we're talking about the difference between 60 minutes and 30 minutes or even 90 minutes is that it's the same amount of effluent based on the number of bedrooms. So the contaminant level does not change from one system to the other.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same amount because it's based on the number of bedrooms. So although the number of bedrooms impacts the size of the leach field. So, if you have an 8-bedroom leach field, it's going to be twice as big as a 4-bedroom leach field. And if you're if you have an 8-bedroom dwelling on a 60-minute per inch soil, it's going to be 4 times the size of a 4-bedroom house on a 30-minute perk soil. So it gets so much larger that it does become cost prohibitive. You know, you try to find better soil essentially, because the expense is of trucking all that material in. I mean, I guess somebody's building an 8-bedroom house, maybe you could say they can afford to put in that kind of a system, but the footprint becomes so large.
I don't think I'd have a problem changing it to 60. All right, what was the next thing we were gonna, next controversial?
Testing season.
Oh, yeah, testing.
Right below it, right there, right,
What is it, Dan?
The testing
right
season.
here.
So there is a regulation that says for new construction, soil testing must be conducted between September 15th and May 30th. And no testing outside the window for new construction. So
What? What do you,
I'm just,
are you laughing?
no, I'm just saying that new construction. Yeah, it's,
oh,
yeah, it's not up.
Dan, what do you think about that one?
It doesn't make any sense really.
That's been in there forever.
We determine, so I've said this before, I'll say it to you again. I was in your meeting the last time this was discussed with Alyssa Rusecki, and she said that she wanted those months to do other stuff other than perk testing. So it wasn't a scientific reason. There's no reason why you can't do perk testing any time of year. There's no reason why you can't do deep holes with determining high groundwater any time of year, with a possible carve out for highly permeable sand soils. So you could strike this provision with a carve out that says that if the health agent directs it, a monitoring well should be installed in highly permeable soils, and that the groundwater should be observed between these periods of time. But that would be the only carve out. That's the only carve out that you could possibly need. If you're dealing, you can find redoxymorphic features in almost any kind of soil except really, really permeable sand where sometimes it doesn't manifest. And that would be a case where you might want to put in a monitoring well and go back after September and just go back and look at the groundwater levels and just confirm what you saw in your deep hole.
I think there was something else. I think
For
there was
any
something
other
else.
kind of soil, you
Right
can
down here,
determine
that
it any
same-
time of year.
This other one says that, Dan, see
Yep.
the groundwater monitoring pipes,
Yep.
that's part of it. It's part of what you're talking about, right?
Yeah, we added that. So you could strike the provision above and leave that provision in.
What do you
And
mean?
from a scientific standpoint, you'd be covered.
Get rid of the one that says you can only do it from those months.
So keep this, just keep this, get rid of that, get rid of this, keep this right here, right? Does that
Yes.
make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
So you get number 1 under section 5. Just slide it up a little bit.
What's this? What do you want? Going up this way? or what?
Yeah. Figure under D, number 1, if we got rid of D number 1.
Get it, yeah. Yeah, get rid of that whole thing.
So we strike it in Title V, covers it.
Well, then we go right to Title 5, so Title 5. You know, credits and frozen,
Right. No, I just wanted to be clear that if we strike this,
yeah.
that means people go to Title V and that's what they follow, and that's fine. That sounds reasonable.
Let's put it in red, I don't know how to, I don't
Really,
know how
all we need
to,
is stuff that's,
to get it,
you know,
To
more
delete it?
restrictive.
I could delete it, but I was used to put the line through it, but I can't find a way to do this on the line. To,
We'll know what that is.
but it'll just say red is gone.
Could underline.
Oh, yeah, right.
Or maybe just right delete next to it.
Oh, yeah, you could just make a comment that says,
And yeah, comment on the side, say delete the red.
I'll
part.
say gone. How about that?
And then you could put in the language below as number 3, right? Because 2 will become 1, 3 will become 2.
So then
And
the
then
E.
the language below in the green will become number 3.
so instead of E,
Yeah.
make it 3.
Right, 1, 2 here,
Smoke testing.
and this is gonna be
Great.
3.
3. Yeah.
You haven't done anything with this 30 though. The 30 is still in debate, right?
No, I
I
thought
would
we
be
were,
happy to do 60.
I thought we all said we would change it to 60.
Okay, so where was this? Where was it?
That,
Right here?
right there.
Yeah.
That's-
So what do we do?
Delete number 1.
Well, do we even need it if the
Yeah, you don't need
Title
it.
5 is 60?
Exactly.
We don't need it if Title 5 is 60 is. You put gone again, done.
Well, your grain size analysis is not in Title 5, so that's an additional requirement,
Okay, so what is the,
right,
This,
Glenn?
what is the base?
Yes,
Glenn, this is,
that's-
number
that's-
2's Glenn's. Number 2's Glenn's, right?
Green size analysis.
No.
Yeah, this is yours.
Was that?
Grain and size, and now this is in your one that you gave us.
Soil conditions are.
So if this is for larger systems.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with that. I mean,
I don't
that's
either.
not, it's not a big deal to have a Title 5 grain size distribution done for a soil sample, just to confirm whether it's a sandy loam or a loamy sand or whatever.
Yeah.
That's fine for larger systems.
Now we have the other big one. The one with the. Is that it? No, it's not it. That's not it. It's the 10 bedrooms. That's the one.
10 bedrooms, yes.
10 bedrooms.
No single dwelling shall contain more than 10 bedrooms.
Or equivalent of 5 2-bedroom units.
Why?
Is it septic size? Feel?
Why, Dan?
Well,
So they
And
looked it
those-
up. They looked it up. There was some developer in 1980 something who was proposing a project that had, I don't know, 12 bedrooms or something, and they immediately instituted this provision or modified it. It used to be something different, but it was in response to some development that somebody had a problem with, like all these local regulations. So there's two different things here, right? No single dwelling or facility can have more than 10 bedrooms worth of flow. So now if you're talking about a facility, if you have a commercial building that has a single building that has more than 10 bedrooms worth of flow, you're supposed to what? Split that flow up into 2 different systems? That makes no sense at all. So I think you have to strike or facility at a minimum. So now you get down to residential, right? So we talked about this. I showed you the project I'm working on Village Street. It's a condominium style project under Title V. A condominium is a single septic system. It's one facility owned by the condominium association. Your regulation would require us to split the sewage from however many buildings we have in that condominium into 4, 5, 6 different septic systems. And there's just there's no reason to it. There's no value to it. I don't think there's any value to it. What it does is it adds cost. It adds to the cost of housing because building 5 different septic systems costs more than building one. It adds to future maintenance costs for those septic systems because maintaining 5 or 6 septic systems instead of one is more cost intensive. And if you put it all into one, you end up with, if you exceed 2,000 gallons per day, you end up with a pressure dosed field, which is a better system than a gravity system. there's just no, I think this was something that was created 40 years ago in response to some specific developer that people didn't like and some project that they didn't like, and they dropped this in the regulation. There's no really compelling reason to have this. Why would you split up a condominium development into 6 systems when you can build one? And you have an example of that, which is the one on, I'm blanking on the road, Ellen.
What's the condominium?
It's Tom Roach's
Rockville.
development down
Rockville.
on Brockville.
Rockville, and Rockville or Rockefeller, Rockville, I think it's Rockville.
Rockville.
Yeah, so
Well,
this is a condominium that was installed, I don't know, 20, 30 years ago, and they have one single septic system. So there was a variance was granted from this requirement for that development. They've had one septic system for all this time. They haven't had any problems with it. It's been not an issue.
Does
So
this
this
come
is
up?
basically this requirement, this restriction would basically take a condo or an apartment building and make you divvy up the flow into multiple septic systems instead of having one single septic system. That's what this limitation
I
is.
speak on something, you might know better than I do, Dan, but, the what was it, Rockville?
Yes.
Rockville?
I think so.
They're the only ones who have built that amount in the septic areas in this town, right? Besides
As far
one of
as
the
I
other-
know, yeah.
I don't remember anyone is the same level that was.
So every
No.
other place that has that kind of a thing is on sewer?
Yeah, most of the larger developments are on sewer.
I don't think a lot of people would build that on septic. Do you, Dan?
Well, I'm working on one.
Yeah, so
So
it's going to come.
it's gonna come down to, is it one septic system or is it 6 septic systems? And, as an engineer, designing and building 6 septic systems when one can serve the facility makes no sense at all.
And also with a system that has those combined flows, you can also put in additional treatment on that system so that it's actually more protective of the environment, because you can put in nitrogen treatment if necessary. You can put in a kind of a pre-treatment system that reduces the effluent value, the components in it, so that you can reduce the size of the leach field in order to fit it into a property better. Whereas you wouldn't be able to do that if you were having to put in multiple systems separated by setback distances from if there's an on-site well. It could get very complicated as far as site planning goes. So, I don't think the argument is an argument that is more protective of the environment the way it's written now, because I think, are more controls associated with having that system being, I don't know what to say, centralized, but at least being the opportunity for more advanced treatment for that system to occur, more controls on it, including much larger tankage, which could have equalization associated with it, dosing rather than gravity flow, so that all of the flow comes, certain times of the day. Instead, it can be distributed throughout the 24 hours, and you can do those kinds of controls when you have that larger system in place, which you can't do with small independent systems. Or if you do it, it doesn't make a lot of sense to do it that way.
Yeah, I was thinking that you could make it a treatment plan, basically, right?
You would have you could have a package, kind of a package plant, or
Yeah, some sort of like.
an advanced treatment system in the treatment train.
Yeah,
And
if
I
you
don't know
have,
what Dan is designing, but that's fairly common for larger systems to have something like that.
yeah, if you have space constraints, if you do it more advanced treatment before you get to the leaching field gets much smaller.
Yeah.
because you're basically at that point just infiltrating water into the ground. Septic system leaching fields are designed to be much larger because they're designed to grow a biomat that is treating the effluent that slows down the rate of infiltration much more than the soil can handle. So there's a different kind of a scenario, but yeah, it's an option to do advanced treatment ahead of. And pressure distribution, which is required for larger systems, is a better system because in pressure distribution, you're dosing the effluent over the entire leaching field every time you send effluent to the leaching field. In a gravity system, the water flows to the beginning of a trench, for example, and it drops out of the pipe and drops at the beginning of the trench, and it's not dosing the entire trench system, and you get a much better system if you have a larger leaching system that's more than 2,000 gallons per day because this pressure dosing is it's better than gravity dosing.
You could have nitrate and phosphorus less spaced out than what you have with the what was that you said before was, Dan?
Well, with pressure dosing, you're
Pressure dosing, it spreads out the nitrogen and the phosphorus.
it spreads out the effluent over the entire leaching system.
And essentially spreading out the nitrogen and phosphorus, right?
Yeah, it basically prevents concentrated loading of effluent in certain areas of a leaching system, and it allows for a more distributed dispersion of that effluent. So larger systems are not bad, is the takeaway. Large systems have advantages over smaller systems.
So I haven't heard a single reason to keep this. Is there one? So
It gives better treatment, that's better.
my impression is we've got it.
Okay, yeah.
And it sounds like if
And
you
that's
want
just-
one, you can just go to the zoning board and get a variance. I mean, I don't wanna be that person,
It's
but,
like done,
right?
Yeah.
So,
right? Alright, so what's left of our regulations that's not in title?
There's nothing else really.
Yeah.
I am taking leave.
Oh,
I
yeah.
have learned way too much.
Oh, the cesspools to make sure that we have that.
Discussion.
It's fascinating. I mean, for you guys, it's fascinating. Thank you, have fun. I see you guys.
That's cool.
The language of the cesspools and what can and can't be placed. I think you had this. Dan, the other day, you said the cesspools versus something else can't be into the cesspool.
But they're not providing treatment, so they
No.
shouldn't be passing Title V.
There's a lot of cities and towns that do. You know, they simply ban the cesspool, and that's how they word it.
Yeah.
This has been, cesspool's been banned, and that's that.
Cesspools do not treat the effluent.
I think I have it right there. Well, here it is, right here.
Well, the distinction between a cesspool and a regular system is a cesspool takes solids with effluent, whereas a septic system, the septic tank traps the solids. So all that goes to the leaching field is the effluent. So the septic tank provides a certain amount of treatment and it traps the solids and ultimately consumes the solids, and then you get an effluent that has a lesser concentration of contaminants that ends up in the leaching system, and that the leaching system is designed to treat that.
So tanks connected to leach pits are not defined as cesspool, right?
No.
Correct.
Okay, so that can pass.
Yep. A leach
Okay.
pit is just a different type of leaching system. You have pits, fields, trenches. There are different kinds.
Okay. I put down that we could just disallow cesspools found in zone 2, or making a cesspool have deep holes which a soil expert determines how, high groundwater for it to fail or not, but I don't know, I think that it's better just to have the cesspool gone, but.
Yeah, I think you should just basically say that when cesspools are encountered, they're considered non-conforming systems and shall be upgraded in accordance with Title V. And that is, you're not prohibiting cesspools, but when they are encountered during a Title V inspection, then you're giving the inspector directions to say that that's a non-conforming system, and it shall be upgraded at that point. So that's upon the title transfer, or, whatever the process is that requires the inspection.
So I think you just leave what you have there, John, right? Glenn, for E?
Yeah,
I wouldn't even say non-conforming, just say cesspools.
shall be considered non-conforming systems.
Yeah, cesspits is not a thing. Privy,
Like composting toilets?
Yeah, so it's like something you see in a, I don't know, you'd see it in the, Appalachian Trail or something like that, you know what I'm saying? Perfect. Yeah,
How many
you
people
never
have
know,
that?
some people might have in their backyard, who knows?
so a cesspit is not a term, so you should strike cesspit. So you could take out non-conforming and start with cesspools, and then privies. I don't have a lot of experience with privies. Glenn?
What's the definition of
Yeah, I don't run into those very often, but when we do find those, we say they're non-conforming. So that's a hole in the ground, basically, an
That's a hole in
outhouse.
the ground, yeah. It's a
Yeah,
hole in the
that's a
ground.
privy.
Yeah, so you could say
They were-
cesspools and privies, plural, will
Wait,
not
wait,
pass,
PROVIES?
yeah, will not pass Title V inspection or ADU and are not suitable for ADU expansion.
And are, wait, and
and or not
not
suitable?
Or acceptable, probably acceptable.
suitable sounds nice though. Right?
Yeah,
That's fine.
either one.
Suitable,
So the ADU
you get to include.
expansion, what the hell is that? Yeah, expansion.
Previous not, but. Yeah. And
Not
four,
suitable for
four, FOR.
EU expansion. Sounds reasonable.
Yeah.
Do we have to?
I don't know, changes. I said, this still got some,
Yeah.
like, well, I don't know where some of these, right here, they got all these other ones that we have not touched because we might as well keep them, but where do they go? Like in this, that's what we have to figure, I have it, another, work area where I put these in areas they should, and I'll take it back to the next meeting and say, this is what
Yeah.
these are falling.
John, I suggest that we have another meeting on the side to go through the rest of the stuff now that the hot topics have been discussed, and then we can come back at the board's next meeting and try to present a more finalized version.
Mhm. Right,
We should have a much shorter regulation if we're getting rid of everything that's already in Title V.
And we could just write C Title V.
See Title V.
Well, you jest, but a lot of towns are going to that. The regulation basically says Title V
Yeah.
prevails except for the following, and they turn a 20-page regulation into a page and a half.
No problem with that. Should be a simpler and easier to follow.
It sounds like we're done here, but you'll come back next time.
Yeah, I also, not passing the regulars.
Do I have to save this some kind of way?
Yes, please save it.
Do you have to save this if it's already,
No, it saves
It's already-
by itself. You're on Google Drive, right?
Yes, right, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right,
Yep, and I'm happy to attend another session with Dan and John.
Thank you
where we
very
can
much.
Work on finalizing these.
Glenn and Dan, thank you very much.
finish it up.
Very good.
All right. Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
Night.
Thanks. Good to see you all. I really appreciate what you do being Board of Health members.
Thanks, Glenn. Thanks
Thank
for
you,
your help.
Thank you, Glenn.
And you too, John, for being a health agent.
I know. I mean, what can you say, right? 30
It's
years.
often a thankless job, I know from experience. So I
Yeah,
really
sometimes-
do appreciate you folks. Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you.
Appreciate that, thank you.
I thought Ellen was here for the agenda procedure.
No,
I didn't know she was here.
Beaver. All right, so we got, it is 9:08. All right. This should be pretty quick. Agenda procedure statement. We just wanted to add this one little statement, which gives us time to review items coming before the board before our meetings. It's the exact same statement that the select board has in their administrative regulations. So basically says if you want us to discuss something, we get a little bit of time.
I'll say I agree with that, especially since the select board is doing it, but do we have exceptions for rare emergencies?
Yeah, I'm sure we could hear something.
Yeah,
It's an emergency.
It looks
but-
like chair shall have ultimate authority, that sounds sufficient.
This is it right here. And this looks exactly like the select board thing, I guess.
The Board of Health Director bears primary responsibility for coordinating planning agenda for regular meetings. Or the director and the chair shall approve the agenda. There shall ultimate authority to determine the meeting agenda. So the big thing is items must be considered for the agenda must be submitted to the Board of Health by 2 p.m. the fourth business day prior to the board's meeting date. Example of meetings on a Monday, request and all backup must be submitted to Board of Health by the prior Tuesday at 2 p.m. I think that comes directly from the select board. Items on the agenda shall be considered out of necessity or due to being routine in nature. So it doesn't say we can't, but then we're not getting the, hey, I want a variance tonight. We have no research, we have no background on it, we don't know.
Right.
You know, we get time to research and understand before our meeting. By getting that 4 business days, so.
Seems fair to me.
Unless I said, I put this, I haven't done anything with this, but I put this in the bottom, just in case, it's just, you know, I don't know where to put it there, but it's just in red. It's just, you know, basically, unless there's an emergency anytime.
It says.
Say anything. Did you
Items,
say it?
items added to the agenda after this time will be considered out of necessity, which is basically.
Okay,
an emergency.
necessity,
I think that covers it.
necessity, emergency, right,
Yeah.
okay, it's already on there.
Yeah. Sounds very fair.
It's reasonable.
And it already says approved.
Yes, the clerk did that,
Okay.
I know she did it. I know she did it,
It was an anticipation.
yes.
Alright. So this is gonna go on our website and
I was gonna say, do we actually have to vote on this?
we vote on it and put it on a website or just put it on a website?
Questions?
Was it administrative?
She wrote down
procedural
unanimously approved May 5th. So I don't, maybe she asked them and maybe they said you gotta vote for it because she writes down unanimously approved May 5th, 2026. So
Okay.
it
alright.
can't hurt it if you do it. You know, what I mean, it
Let's
can't
vote
hurt.
on administrative change for the Board of Health. Okay, motion to approve the Board of Health agenda procedures as written.
Second.
Okay, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Hi.
All right. Unanimously approved, I made that.
Now we're only an hour behind, that's good. That's fast.
Alright. Meeting minutes, we can do this really fast.
I was gonna say we should do that with Chikar, so.
Yeah, she's not gonna be here for the next one, alright,
She always finds stuff.
Those I's and those T's.
our meeting minutes will suffer without you. Right. Okay. We are.
Six oh eight PM nurses, apostrophe between E and S. Because I don't think we have more than one nurse, correct?
It's hard to find one.
I know.
Oh, by the way, we're gonna have, the interviews for the Medway Millis,
Oh, nice.
so.
Oh.
That'll be,
I'm
well,
sure
some of
Ann's
my,
happy about that.
Hmm?
I'm sure Ann likes.
Yeah, she knows, July something, 2026, she's probably gonna retire, from.
Again.
Again, so,
It'll take us time.
yeah.
Alright, so we got the July to find one, pull it that place. Mhm.
7:22 PM. Chair Hayes updated, blah, 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 meetings with herself. Do
With
you want
myself all the time.
you want that to be a capital, her?
No, we wouldn't put, we put there, we didn't put that. Meetings with herself,
Yeah, I guess it doesn't need to be capitalized, but.
so you want that
Yeah,
still
small
there?
h.
Yeah, just a small.
Unless it's the royal herself.
Right. An upgrade. And then I think Glenn is one N and his last name is Ayers, I believe.
Oh, yeah, you forgot the R and Glen
ARY,
AYER.
A-Y-E-R.
And then one.
ARY.
No, A-Y. A-Y-E-R-S.
So I see what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah.
And then Glenn is one N. For him, us.
Not the RGE. It's not part of that.
8:45 PM. It doesn't need to be a comma after 2026.
What was that, 8:45 PM?
Right, so go to where it says March 9, comma, 2026, then there's a comma. You can take out
Right.
that comma. And also in the
Yeah.
first sentence too.
Sorry, again, what you said after this?
Yep, so after that's great. So go to the sentence above this, the one that you just, yeah, there's another comma that can come out.
Oh, yeah, right, yeah, okay, I see.
Yeah.
Alright.
I think under 9 o'clock, you can move the comma after 2026 again.
I got this. What was that?
There's another comma after April 13, 2026.
It doesn't blue lines under when you get rid of this thing. It's probably saying,
It's wrong.
yeah,
Oh,
These-
it's one.
yeah, let's see, I'd like to say what they're saying.
Graham.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell it is. Yeah, I don't know, it's not coming up, but it's, why does it do blue lines after, I don't know.
Yep. All right, motion to approve the April 13th, 2026 Board of Health minutes.
Second,
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Yay.
Now, do I have to save this?
Nope,
Or
it'll
not?
save.
It's automatically saved.
Make sure.
It should.
Yeah, I don't see a file save in this. So it probably is automatically saved.
Oh, you changed it directly on Dropbox. Okay.
Was that, yeah, it's in the
All right,
Dropbox.
okay.
It automatically save stuff out of the Dropbox.
All right, I think you just gotta change the title to not draft, regular, but approve. All right, director's report.
The monthly activity. Food service inspections. Between me and Angelo. Title V inspection report, 29 Beach Street, Title V inspections pass, B29 Orchard Street pass. Septic tests and plans, 51 Spencer, final, new septic they put in. And 47 Walnut perk test. That was done 4/27/26. Turned out all right. It's a repair. Housing, nothing really from Stony Brook. That's just it. There's nothing wrong with Stony Brook. Beavers issue, I just listed by it, maybe because I had a lot of beaver issues this time. 41 and 44 Farm Street lawn and cars is not mine, that's police. The farm street saying he had a lot of grass growing. I haven't really issued anything now because right now it's not really high enough by the person who called upon them. Mid-May, you'd start to see it and I'd go out there and then I'd say, you got something that's foot tall line, lawn there and send a letter to the people. So. That would be in 44 Farm Street. The cars in 141 Farm Street, that's police. And he had cars parked in the lawn. And the person who called is a neighbor that didn't like what he saw. in some places.
Cars on his property.
No, so it's on a different property, but he's a person that doesn't like to see this stuff. You know what I mean? Okay, that's what it is. So,
Okay.
91 Dover Street site, what is it? What was that? Oh, Dover, that was the whole bridge, 34 bridge, that they have that issue. I think you were involved in that too. I think, I sent you some things as well. Maybe I didn't, I don't know. And he's got some issues with the 34 bridge that's trying to form a 40B. And it's impacting, impacting his,
As well.
and everything else, yeah. And the wells test, he couldn't find anything wrong with it. He had some other issues with water coming from that property onto, right next to his septic system. And I had the people to fix that up, and actually Dan American went up there and fixed it, so. There's other things going on there too, it's very interesting, but.
Yeah.
These are different meetings and things like that. Health fair. On April 14th, 26th. It was good, pretty good. And, yeah. And JICA. I'll let you.
JICAR?
Car. Your last meeting?
Oh, yes, this is
Yes.
it's my last meeting for now. Who knows? I might come back like a ghost and come haunt. Um,
As soon as Kathy does, like, just like,
Right.
randomly comes on and. This part.
yeah.
We'll miss you, though, we'll miss you.
Yeah, 10 years. I did 10 years and I thought it was a good time to take a break and you know, it's in good hands. You all are doing great work. And yeah, I think the regulations being revised is good timing because I think there's going to be some interesting shifts in the town. It's my thoughts, but yeah, I will coalesce what I've got on the beavers, what initiated it, and the data and the contacts at Mass Wildlife and stuff. So they do keep track of what the towns are doing in terms of the beavers, and they were very unhappy with our what we were doing, which was just trapping everything all the time, private, public. So, but you know, people don't know what they don't know, so it's good to have everybody know the same thing as much as possible. So, but yeah.
You have a lot of experience and, well, hopefully we can tap into your experience.
Oh yeah, please, you know, I mean, if you ever need, you know, just let me know. You know, Zoom makes it easy, so. But I think, you know, you guys, you found your rhythm and it's, I think it'll be interesting to see what comes your way in the next, few years, so. But, yeah, and see what Regency Glen Ellen. I will miss the yearly pool meetings.
Yeah, we'll let you know when it is.
You know, and I'm surprised we haven't heard from the other people that have pools. I mean, usually, you know, you remember, Matt, you know, when you first came on, we were doing, and they were a little crankier. So,
Yeah, they were.
yeah, not the Regency people as much as some of the other people. But yeah, so, but I wish you all well in your meetings and, in your purview as things shift in Millis and come up in Millis. So you never know, because the Board of Health is a very large umbrella.
True.
It's very true.
When no one else can solve it, they come to us. That's the idea.
Yeah, or the miscellaneous board. Yeah, but keeps it interesting, you know. It's enough different types of things, makes it interesting.
Keep learning. Learn about wells and septic skills, like, I never thought I'd be learning about septic.
Yeah,
We both remember COVID. That was probably the most difficult time in the history of boards of health was the COVID. And
I
they can
was
see
just
that-
gonna say, yeah, no, I remember those. Well, and I remember the meeting, the last meeting we had in person, and I think it was Bonnie was still there and Kathy. And I was reading about this because I'd signed up for some of the websites, John Hopkins and stuff. And I remember coming, I think it was a February meeting. It's the last in-person meeting we did. And I remember sitting like as far in the corner as I could because they were saying 6 feet, right? Remember that? And I was like sitting there going, sweating bullets because I'm like, I shouldn't be here. I shouldn't be here. And, and Kathy asked me, what are you doing? And I said, haven't you read? And da, da, da. She's like, it's just another flu. And I'm like, I don't think it is. I don't think it is. So, but that was intense that, because, just, and then trying to like give guidance, like, okay, we don't even know how this spreads. So what do we what are we telling people? Yeah, that was an interesting time. Hard to believe that was only what, 6 years ago? Hard to believe.
I was 6 years ago.
Yeah.
And there was working time for everybody.
Yeah, well, I remember, you'd get groceries and then keep them in your garage for like however, and then, and then Lysol, Lysol, the milk containers and, oh, geez. But yeah, it was an interesting experience. I mean, so between the beavers and COVID and the pools, yeah, it's interesting. Definitely interesting. So I will miss it. But change is good too. And thank you. Thank you for being good company for meetings. Very good company. So thank you for that.
Thank you, Jack. We learned a lot with you. It's great.
Thank you for your service, 10 years.
Yep. Well, I'll definitely, I'll swing by and check in with John and see what the latest project is that you're all working on, because you shoveled through all the regs. So what are you going to do with all your time?
Tobacco ready to go.
Oh, geez, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I mean, seriously, it's like, it's been a driving force. So, but be careful what you ask for, right? So, but anyway, well, enjoy your time with the new person. And every person changes it a little bit, which is good. And I'm sure you'll find a new rhythm, and I look forward to, peeking in every once in a while. So, but yeah, so thank you. And be well.
All right, who's making the motion?
All right. Motion to adjourn the May 5th Board of Health meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
I
I,
Aye.